Chapter 220, Lu Changxing, do you know what happened to my sister? Three masked figures in a flying boat pursued relentlessly. Two of them commanded magic artifacts, unleashing spells, and bombarded the barrier of the flying boat steered by Lu Yuanhua, causing the boat's defensive light shield to dim gradually. This kind of flying boat was just an ordinary one, used for traveling, and it did not have strong defenses. No, if this continues, the flying boat simply won't hold up. Miaofeng, Miaoqing, you guys take turns controlling the boat, I'll draw one of them away. Seeing the situation, Lu Yuanhua's expression changed and he said through gritted teeth, Uncle Yuanhua, let me do it. I've got talismans from the fourth elder, and I might be able to use them to escape later. Lu Changxing also spoke up. With so many people around right now, he couldn't conveniently reveal his true power. But once he got to a secluded place, he would have no such concerns. Just as long as he could draw one person away with Lu Yuanhua present, the crisis for the Lu family members would be resolved. No, Changxing, you're our Lu family's talisman master. You absolutely must not take risks. Hearing this, Lu Yuanhua didn't even think before he immediately rejected the idea. They obviously came prepared, targeting our Lu family. If you, Uncle Yuanhua, were to leave, returning to Qingzhou Mountain in the flying boat would be difficult. Moreover, even if you draw one away, facing two at the energy refinement late stage, we still might not be able to safely return to Qingzhou Mountain. Lu Changxing said quickly. In his opinion, it would be simpler to draw the enemy away now than revealing his strength later when they were cornered. Uncle Yuanhua, Changxing makes sense, but Changxing, you can't take the risk either. Let me do it. At this moment, Lu Miaoqing bit his lip and stood up. Lu Changxing was speechless. He offered to go out because he was confident in his own strength. You going out would be outright suicide. Probably couldn't even manage to draw them away. However, Lu Miaoqing stepping forward at this time made him see him in a new light. Brother Cheng, if you go, you're just marching to your death. I've already broken through to the 6th level energy refinement a few days ago, and I have a flying artifact that allows for a brief flight. Don't argue with me about this. Lu Changxing didn't want to waste any more time. He slapped his storage bag and a stack of talismans appeared in his hand, at least 50 or 60 of them. He handed half of them to Lu Miaohuan, who was beside him, and said, Miss Miaohuan, keep these talismans for self-defense. After speaking, he activated a golden light barrier talisman and a wind commanding charm on himself, threw out the flying artifact, and jumped off the flying boat. Changxing. Lu Changxing. Changxing, come back. Lu Yuanhua, Lu Miaohuan, and the others watched the scene with shock and alarm, calling out loudly, not expecting Lu Changxing to be so decisive. Go, don't waste time. Lu Changxing stood atop the circular flying artifact, his green robe billowing, enveloped by a layer of golden light, and without looking back, he shouted loudly. Then he activated a dozen or so talismans, which transformed into wind blades, cold winds, fire clouds, and vine tendrils that rolled menacingly toward the pursuing flying boat. Since he needed to draw one away, he had to stir up some enmity. Otherwise, if the enemy didn't send anyone to chase him, it would be quite embarrassing. Hearing Lu Changxing's words and seeing his actions, Lu Yuanhua, Lu Miaoqing, Lu Miaohuan, and the others were moved beyond words. They felt as if the figure of Lu Changxing in front of them was growing taller and larger. Especially Lu Miaohuan, who looked at Lu Changxing's tall and lean silhouette and at the talismans in her hands, felt a lump in her throat. She had never expected the usually amiable and even somewhat timid and cowardly Lu Changxing to be so brave at such a moment, making a sacrifice of himself. And before doing so, he had given them half of the life-saving talismans. Go. Seeing Lu Changxing's actions, Lu Yuanhua knew that now was not the time to hesitate or delay. Their only course of action was to hurry back and call for help. He steered the flying boat with all his might, escaping towards Qingzhou Mountain. In his heart, he could only hope that Lu Changxing would survive with the help of the talismans. Lu Changxing? You've chosen to leap into hell when you could have taken the road to heaven. Little do you know that our main target this time is none other than you. The three men chasing in the flying boat were pleasantly surprised to see Lu Changxing voluntarily jump from the flying boat. Their mission was mainly to assassinate Lu Changxing, the Lu family's talisman master. Only after him would come the other Lu family disciples. Now seeing Lu Changxing jumping from the boat, actively provoking them, they immediately felt elated. Let's kill him. After the masked figures defended against the talisman attacks, they immediately steered the flying boat, chasing after Lu Changxing. This is bad, they're directly going after Lu Changxing. Lu Miaohuan, seeing this scene, exclaimed with a sudden change in expression. If one person chased after Lu Changxing, he might stand a chance with the talismans, but now, all three were abandoning the pursuit of the others to go for Lu Changxing, which put him in an almost certain death situation. Their main target is Changxing, the talisman master. It must be the Qin family, only the Qin family would target our Lu family like this. Lu Yuanhua looked in the direction where Lu Changxing was escaping, his face very grim, and he said through clenched teeth. But in this situation they were completely helpless to assist. Even if he went now, it would just mean his death. Lu Changxing, with all his spiritual power, propelled the flying artifact to its limits, streaking through the sky like a shooting star, zipping through the mountains below. After all, being in the air made him an easy target and was all too conspicuous. In this desolate mountain range, it was perfect for killing and hiding a body. Huh. They've all come after me? So their main target is me, or am I just a higher priority than the others? Lu Changxing looked back at the flying boat behind him and was slightly surprised. He hadn't expected all three robber cultivators to give up chasing the others and come after him instead. Chapter 221. Lu Changxing, do you know what happened to my sister? However, this is also good, it makes dealing with him easy, Lu Changxing thought calmly to himself. How is this brat flying so quickly? He's using a talisman and he's fully activating his magic artifact with his spiritual power. It won't be long before he completely exhausts his spirit power. He must have life-saving talismans on him, we can't let him get away. Having seen the situation, the three masked individuals put away their flying boat. They each controlled their flying artifacts, formed spiritual arts with their hands, and chased after Lu Changxing with all their might. After a short while, Lu Changxing entered the mountain range and slowed down. Kit, keep running, why have you stopped? You've got guts, luring us away alone for the sake of others. I heard you're just the Lu family's son-in-law. I didn't expect you to be so loyal to the Lu family, sacrificing yourself for others. The three, seeing Lu Changxing slowing down, quickly surrounded him and mocked. In their eyes, Lu Changxing was now trapped with no escape. They were not in a hurry to kill Lu Changxing. Sigh, I didn't expect you to hold me in such high regard, coming after me in full force, Lu Changxing said with a bitter smile to the three individuals. Then he inquired, Gentlemen, as I am facing death, may I ask you a question? Was it also you who attempted to assassinate Lu Miaoge before? Lu Miaoge, you're talking about the young girl from the Lu family. Yes, that was us, one of the masked men said directly. It's just that girl was hit by our leader's black fiend / her life force was nearly extinguished, yet she didn't die. I heard you saved her. How did you manage that? That's right, considering your talent as a talisman master, if you're willing to surrender peacefully, we might give you a chance to live, the other two said. How did I do it? It's simple because, Lu Changxing started with a bitter smile. Mid-sentence, his eyes suddenly sharpened and he pointed his finger. A seven-colored light burst from his fingertip. With a whoosh, a fierce sword light shot out, heading straight for the forehead of the man in front. Not good. The three were startled in that moment. The man targeted by the sword light, seeing the fierce sword beam before him, had his mental spirit tremble violently. Before he could react, a bloody hole appeared in his forehead, and his consciousness disappeared. Then, with a thud, he fell from his flying artifact. Do you understand the reason now? Lu Changxing asked the other two, who were in shock and fear. However, just as the words left his mouth, two even larger sword beams from the seven luminary sword erupted and slashed out, chilling to the spine. The two immediately raised body-protecting chi barriers around themselves and activated their magic artifacts, trying to defend. But to the seven luminary sword beams, these chi barriers were like paper, instantly shattered and pierced through. No. One had their brain pierced, another beheaded, both died instantly, thud falling to the ground. Unknowingly, my strength has reached this point, Lu Changxing observed the three dead bodies, feeling a touch of joy and exhilaration in his usually calm heart. After all, this was the first time he had killed an enemy relying on his own strength and not on talismans or talisman treasures. Of course, the assistance of treasures like the profound origin bead was also considered part of his strength. One benefit of using the seven luminary sword beam is that it doesn't damage the magic artifacts on the person, Lu Changxing thought to himself. He then collected the three individuals' magic artifacts in storage bags. He ignited 3 fireballs, reducing the bodies to ashes, and after a simple cleanup of the battlefield, quickly left. He soon found a cave and began to sort through their storage bags. Could these people be backed by the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain? While sorting through the storage bags and coming across a token from the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly. Is it actually the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain, or is someone trying to frame them? He wondered to himself. He felt the likelihood of framing was low. But if the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain had sent people, they probably would not carry such a token. And this kind of token could not prove it was the Yu family's people. It just showed a connection to the Yu family. Without much thought, Lu Changsheng destroyed the token. After all, such a token could have markers. And it was useless to him. He surely couldn't go to the Yu family with several tokens in hand to accuse them of wrongdoing? In the cultivation world, justice was not about right or wrong. It was about strength with no need for evidence. Moments later, Lu Changsheng finished sorting through the storage bags. He had gained a total of 867 spirit stones, 4 high-grade magic artifacts, 6 middle-grade magic artifacts, a flying boat, several elixir medicines, a number of talismans, various spiritual medicines, and then some miscellaneous materials. This haul of spirit stones and magic artifacts is a bit less, but the biggest gain this time is this flying boat. This flying boat is worth at least 1,000 or 2,000 spirit stones. But if it really is people from the Yu family, then I can't reveal this flying boat easily, it's best to dispose of it. After sorting, Lu Changsheng thought to himself. He then looked at his immaculate, spotless magical robe and after a brief contemplation, made a few tears in his robe that he had worn for 5 or 6 years. After all, he had narrowly escaped from the hands of 3 individuals at the energy refinement late stage, and such a neat appearance did not seem consistent with his ordeal. I should return in 3 or 4 days, otherwise if I go back now, it would be a bit hard to explain. Lu Changsheng considered. He planned to add some marks of battle damage to his robe before going back. Then Lu Changsheng started to meditate to recover his spiritual power. His full use of the flying artifact and the release of 3 7-luminary sword beams had been a significant expenditure. He had used up half of his spiritual power. If not for the support of the profound origin bead, he would never have used his spiritual power so recklessly. Chapter 222. Sister Lu Changsheng is dead. _1 Qingzhou Mountain. Inside a grand hall. What, you say you were ambushed on your way back? The second elder was intercepted, and Changsheng, in order to lure the enemies away, was chased by 3 robber cultivators and now his whereabouts are unknown. Lu Yuanding's expression darkened instantly upon hearing his daughter Lu Miaohuan's words. Yes, father, at that time we were being chased by 3 energy refinement late-stage robber cultivators. Uncle Yuanhua tried to lead them away but Changsheng, to ensure our safe escape, voluntarily left the flying boat, attempting to draw one away by himself. But in the end, all 3 robber cultivators went after Lu Changsheng. Lu Miaohuan said, her eyes red and her voice choked with emotion. All this time, the image of Lu Changsheng stepping off the flying boat and standing on the magic artifact to lead the robber cultivators away kept reappearing in her mind. Regret and self-blame gnawed at her. Why hadn't she held on to Lu Changsheng then? After all, being chased by 3 robber cultivators was certainly a death sentence. Family head, this is all my fault. I failed to protect Changsheng. I am willing to accept punishment, said Lu Yuanhua, his face filled with self-reproach. The importance of Lu Changsheng to the Lu family was now self-evident. As long as he continued to grow, he would be one of the core pillars of the Lu family in the future. But now, such a pillar of the future had been sacrificed because of them. This filled him with immense guilt and self-blame. Sigh. Lu Yuanding let out a heavy sigh, his heart weighed down with sorrow. He never expected such an unexpected event to occur. If Lu Changsheng really had an accident, it would not only be a great loss to the Lu family. He also wouldn't know how to face the 4th elder. The ancestor once said, Lu Changsheng is a man of great destiny. I hope he can turn calamity into blessing this time. Lu Yuanding could only hope so in his heart. But the thought of Lu Changsheng being pursued by 3 robber cultivators made his mood even heavier. The prospect of Lu Changsheng turning calamity into blessing, of escaping death, seemed incredibly slim. The matter of punishment can be set aside for now. The urgent task at hand is to retrieve and rescue the 2nd elder and search for Lu Changsheng. Looking at his daughter with reddened eyes, her face full of sadness and grief, Lu Yuanding sighed softly and then turned to Lu Yuanhua and said this. He then told his daughter and the other Lu family disciples to rest and not to spread the news. He and Lu Yuanhua quickly left the grand hall. Lu Miaohuan, her eyes red, returned to the backyard of her family home with a grief-stricken and despondent face and sat down by the stone table, staring blankly into space. She couldn't help but recall Lu Changsheng's appearance and silhouette in her mind. Their playful bickering, the joy, every little moment shared. Though the time the two had spent together wasn't long, when she reminisced, those moments kept revolving in her head. The sadness, self-reproach, and other emotions in her heart began to ferment, making Lu Changsheng's image in her heart become ever more vivid. Lu Changsheng, she whispered his name softly. She felt an emptiness inside. She realized what it meant to only cherish something when it's lost. Huan, you're back. What's wrong? At this moment, Lu Miaoge returned from visiting the fourth elder. Seeing her sister's sorrowful and distraught state in the yard, she immediately approached her with concern. Sister, Lu Changsheng is dead, woo. As Lu Miaohuan, mired in her memories, saw her sister appear, all the emotions churning in her heart exploded in that moment. She hugged her sister tightly, her voice filled with grievance as she spoke. Tears streamed down her face as she cried. What? Lu Miaoge, hearing her sister's words, felt as if struck by lightning, her delicate body shaking violently, frozen in shock. Her beautiful face turned pale, she looked at her sister in disbelief and said, Huan, what are you saying? You're saying Changsheng is dead? Woo, he sacrificed himself to protect us. Lu Miaohuan cried out loudly. She had already convinced herself that Lu Changsheng's death was certain. Hearing this, Lu Miaoge looked at her sister's sorrowful state, her heart also filled with grief as if cut by knives. Huan, don't cry, tell me what happened? Changsheng, how could Changsheng die? Lu Miaoge soothed her sister, her lips quivering as she asked shakily. She couldn't believe this was true. That Lu Changsheng could just die like that. Memories of him also started resurfacing in her mind, meeting Lu Changsheng through the testing of talisman-making skills, then constantly hearing about his progress in the talisman path and remembering him. Later, studying talisman-making with him at the fourth elder's place, working together at the Nine Dragons marketplace. She had witnessed Lu Changsheng's progress and growth all along. And not long ago, their relationship had taken another step further, with the reality of a marital connection. But now her sister was telling her that Lu Changsheng was dead. Lu Miaoge simply couldn't believe it, couldn't accept this terrible news. On our way back, Lu Miaohuan began, her voice choked with sobs, narrating the events that had happened during their return. 4 masked robber cultivators attacked us. Changsheng lured the robber cultivators away and ended up being chased by 3 of them. When Lu Miaoge heard that Lu Changsheng wasn't confirmed dead, the anxiety that had caught in her throat eased somewhat, but her heart still sunk to the depths. She knew these 4 robber cultivators, bold enough to ambush the second elder's flying boat, were no ordinary foes. They might even be the same 4 who had ambushed her before. Under such circumstances, for Lu Changsheng to escape unscathed from 3 robber cultivators was nearly impossible. Huan, don't cry, Changsheng has a destiny protected by heaven, and he won't come to harm. Lu Miaoge bit her lip, consoling her sister. Chapter 223. Sister, Lu Changsheng is dead. At the same time, she was also comforting herself. Because she knew Lu Changsheng had some secrets. He was not as simple as he seemed on the surface. Especially since the time Lu Changsheng rescued her and they practiced dual cultivation together, she knew that Lu Changsheng's strength was not just breaking through to the 6th level energy refinement as Lu Miaohuan had said. He had most likely broken through to the 7th level energy refinement. Yet even at the 7th level energy refinement, facing 3 robber cultivators was more likely to be perilous than not. When she encountered those 4 robber cultivators, if she hadn't relied on her protective magic artifact and talismans, as well as being close to Nine Dragons Market, she would not have been able to escape at all. Moreover, if it hadn't been for Lu Changsheng's rescue at the time, she would have been on a path to certain death. Thinking of these things, waves of sadness and discomfort surged in her heart again. Even if Lu Changsheng had just broken through to the 6th level energy refinement, he never fought with anyone before and even gave half of his talismans to us for self-defense. Sob. Lu Miaohuan thought of the moment Lu Changsheng went down the flying boat and gave her half of the talismans, and her heart ached even more. She looked at them, and although most of those talismans were middle grade, there were also several superior grade talismans among them. She knew these talismans must have been Lu Changsheng's own life-saving talismans for self-defense. Yet in such a dangerous moment, he not only lured the enemies away but also divided half of his life-saving talismans between them. If it weren't for my return to Qingzhou Mountain, making Changsheng stay at the spirit talisman shop, Changsheng wouldn't have encountered danger. Hearing her younger sister's tearful words, Lu Miaoge too was touched. A sense of self-reproach grew in her heart. She felt that if it weren't for her, Lu Changxing would have returned to Qingzhou Mountain last time. Then he would not have met with this ambush and this incident wouldn't have happened. Changxing, you must come back alive. Lu Miaoge silently prayed in her heart, unwilling to believe the news of Lu Changxing's death. Seeing her younger sister's grief-stricken and heartbroken look, Lu Miaoge sighed deeply in her heart. She had always known that her younger sister had a certain fondness for Lu Changxing. But she had not expected that her sister's affection for Lu Changxing had reached such an extent. If before Wan Huan's feelings for Changxing were just liking and fondness. But many times memories can beautify a person. Now, having gone through such an event, the affection, fondness and sorrow in Wan Huan's heart keep fermenting. I'm afraid she'll never be able to forget Changxing now. Lu Miaoge knew her sister's temperament very well. She also knew that after this event, her sister could never forget Lu Changxing. Thinking of her own complicated fate with Lu Changxing, and now her sister's as well, she couldn't help but sigh. But thinking of the uncertainty surrounding Lu Changxing's life or death, Lu Miaoge didn't dwell on it further. She merely hoped that Lu Changxing could come back safely. It's okay, Changxing will definitely come back, he must. Lu Miaoge softly comforted her sister, her voice trembling slightly, but with a touch of firmness. She always felt that Lu Changxing wouldn't die so easily. As long as Lu Changxing's body wasn't seen, she refused to believe that he was dead. At the same time, the residence of the fourth elder. Changxing went to draw away the robber cultivators, making 3 late-stage energy refinement robber cultivators pursue him. Upon hearing the words of Lu Yuanding and Lu Yuanhua, the fourth elder's face also changed drastically. Having dealt with Lu Changxing so much, she naturally knew that her son-in-law wasn't as simple as he appeared. He possessed some unknown opportunities and secrets. The Lu family ancestor had also said that Lu Changxing was a bearer of great destiny. Therefore, she knew that Lu Changxing dared to do so, drawing away a robber cultivator because he certainly had confidence. He believed he could escape from the hands of a late-stage energy refinement robber cultivator. But now Lu Yuanhua was saying that 3 robber cultivators went directly after Lu Changxing, which weighed heavily on her mind and filled her with worry. The most urgent task now is to send people to assist the second elder. I will go to see the ancestor to see if there's a way to find Changxing's whereabouts. After all, the fourth elder was someone who had lived through many trials and tribulations. Without dwelling on it or wasting emotions, she quickly calmed down, spoke out, and began discussing how to address the situation. Changxing, if something happens to you, how will I explain to Miaoyan? After Lu Yuanding and Lu Yuanhua left, the fourth elder sighed deeply as well. She temporarily decided not to inform her granddaughter about this news to avoid causing her worry. She then went to the depths of Qingzhou Valley to meet with the Lu family ancestor, to see if there was any way to determine Lu Changxing's situation. 2 days later. What? Changxing lured the robber cultivators away and is now missing. How could you let Changxing do such a risky thing? The second elder, having met with the Lu family members, reacted with anger upon hearing about Lu Changxing, his face showing disapproval as he glared at Lu Yuanhua. Before this he had not fully accepted Lu Changxing. He felt that time was needed to observe whether Lu Changxing could fully integrate into the Lu family. But after Lu Changxing refused the Yu family's invitation and saved Lu Miaoge, and now facing a crisis with the Lu family, and having firmly stated his intent to share fate with the Lu family, he had come to accept Lu Changxing completely as one of their own. But now Lu Yuanhua was saying, Lu Changxing lured away the robber cultivators and was missing, which outraged him. Second elder. Lu Yuanhua bowed guiltily with clasped hands. Have you found any clues to Changxing? The second elder asked in a grave voice. No, we have already searched the area where Changxing lured away the robber cultivators, and there are no signs of battle. So there are only 2 possibilities. Lu Yuanhua spoke out. No signs of battle meant there was no intense confrontation, and the battle ended very quickly. So there were only 2 possibilities. Either Lu Changxing escaped directly. Chapter 224. Sister Lu Changxing is dead. Either Lu Changxing was easily slain and captured by the 3 people, or facing 3 cultivators at the energy refinement late stage, they all inevitably considered the latter possibility more likely. Has the patriarch been informed of this matter? Thinking of the patriarch's once favorable opinion of Lu Changxing, the second elder inquired. The fourth elder went to see the patriarch, but Changxing had no token on him and had been subjected to soul-tracking methods, so the patriarch could not sense Changxing's situation, Lu Yuanhua said with bitterness. For a cultivation family like the Lu family, There were no such things as soul lamps or identity jades to determine life and death. Only a few core disciples would have soul-tracking charms and tokens left by the family elder to prevent any accidents. Search, continue the search, expand the search area. Send a message as soon as there is news. After a moment of silence, the second elder spoke directly. At the same time, inside a cave, about time to head back, otherwise Miaoyun and the others, seeing the second elder and the rest returning but not me, would probably start to worry. Lu Changxing, after laying low for 2 days, looked at the sky outside and felt it was almost time. He then added some signs of battle damage to himself. Afterward, he walked out of the cave, released his iron feather eagle from the storage bag, and flew towards Qingzhou Mountain. A day later, Lu Changxing, riding on the iron feather eagle, landed outside Qingzhou Mountain. Lu Changxing, you're back, are you alright? At the gate, an elder of the Lu family saw Lu Changxing and immediately exclaimed with joy. Sizing up Lu Changxing and seeing no serious injuries, the elder also let out a sigh of relief. Yes, I'm fine. I hid for 2 days after escaping the pursuit, which is why I'm only returning now, Lu Changxing responded. Good, it's good that you're back, good that you're back. The family has sent people out to look for you, I will send a message now to call them back, the family elder stated, nodding. Lu Yuanding had instructed before to send a message as soon as Lu Changxing returned. I've made the family worry, I will go home and report that I'm safe. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing immediately said. He knew his actions would surely cause concern to the Lu family. Moreover, his wives and concubines, knowing that others from the Nine Dragons market had returned and he had not, would surely worry as well. Thinking of his year-long absence from home, he longed deeply for his wives, concubines and children. Good, go on. Seeing Lu Changxing only suffered minor wounds and no serious harm, the family elder didn't say much more. Lu Changxing nodded, and upon entering Qingzhou Mountain, he promptly headed straight for his home. Along the way, he vaguely observed that the Lu family was on high alert, with notably more family disciples patrolling. Greeting several Lu family disciples on the road informed Lu Changxing that only a small number of people knew about the danger he had encountered. Before long, Lu Changxing entered Qingzhou Valley and arrived at his estate. Husband is back. Daddy. Look, Daddy is back. Just as Lu Changxing entered, his wives and concubines who were with the children in the yard rushed over to greet him with surprised joy. Husband, what happened to you? Why is your magical robe damaged? One of his wives immediately noticed the damage on Lu Changxing's magical robe and expressed concern. Seeing the expressions of his wives and concubines, Lu Changxing instantly knew. Lu family did not mention to their wives about what happened on the way home. Therefore, their wives were unaware of the chase and attempted murder by the robber cultivator. I encountered a slight mishap on the road, nothing serious, said Lu Changxing immediately, waving his hand dismissively. He did not want to cause his wives to worry. He quickly went to the side hall, changed his clothes and accompanied his wives and children to the backyard to visit the other wives and children. My lord, you're back. Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the other ladies in the backyard were overjoyed upon seeing Lu Changxing. They put down the children and rushed towards Lu Changxing with delighted faces, embracing him. Hihi, have you missed your husband? Lu Changxing gathered the 2 petite wives into his arms. Yes. Lu Miaoyun's eyes were full of tender affection as she spoke. Chu Jinjin, who had become less shy than before, clung tightly to Lu Changxing and said in a soft, sweet voice. Your husband has missed you too, said Lu Changxing gently. After hugging the 2 women warmly for a while, he did not neglect any of his wives or concubines. He showed care to every single one of them, then turned his attention to the children. But now, with so many children, he was honestly confused. He could not immediately recognize who was who, especially since he had been away for a year. All the children that were in their mothers' bellies had been born. There were 11 children whom he had not yet seen or held. Next, Lu Changxing looked at these children and named the 11 new ones. He then started chatting with his wives about old times, mentioning his experiences in Nine Dragons Market, and listening to his wives share the little things about family and life. And just at that moment, a startled and delightful voice reached them. Lu Changxing. They saw a young woman who looked to be around 18 or 19 years old, with delicate features, a stunning face and elegant figure, dressed in a black and gold figure-hugging dress, staring at Lu Changxing. She then rushed towards Lu Changxing with a surprised and delighted face. Lu Changxing gazed at the excited young lady rushing toward him and was slightly taken aback. He wasn't sure why this young lady was so excited today. Still, he instinctively opened his arms. Suddenly he was enveloped in a fragrant breeze and a tender embrace. What's going on here? Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and other ladies chatting with Lu Changxing were taken aback by the scene, left in a daze. Confused, they didn't understand how Lu Miaohuan suddenly arrived in their home, bursting so excitedly and eagerly into the arms of their husband. Watching Lu Miaohuan, who was joyfully clinging to their husband, Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the others exchanged perplexed glances, not knowing what to say. Not far off, Lu Miaoge, who had arrived with Lu Miaohuan, showed a helpless expression on her face. She had not expected her sister to act in such a manner in public, and in front of Lu Changxing's other wives no less. But she could understand her sister's feelings. Hers had been a few days filled with restlessness, unable to eat or drink properly. Just hearing about Lu Changxing's return had made her thrilled, insisting on coming over. Lu Miaoge, watching Lu Miaohuan embracing Lu Changxing, gently pursed her lips, her eyes filled with soft joy, but her emotions were somewhat mixed. P.S. There will be a second chapter, but it will be very late, so everyone doesn't need to wait. Chapter 225. Don't let the riches flow into others' fields. _1 Lu Miaohuan embraced Lu Changxing for a moment before immediately snapping back to reality. Only then did she remember she was in Lu Changxing's home. And there were so many people watching. Moreover, these people were all Lu Changxing's wives and concubines. She had actually thrown herself into Lu Changxing's arms in front of his wives and concubines. Even though Lu Miaohuan was usually bold and carefree, indifferent to others' gazes, at that moment she couldn't help but blush profusely, covering her face as she ran off. Lu Changxing watched Lu Miaohuan hurry away, caught off guard. Soon after, he shook his head and smiled wryly. He also roughly understood what was going on. She must have thought he was in grave danger when he went to lure away the robber cultivator. Hearing of his safe return, she must have been so agitated to see him alive. Sister Miaoge, I've made you worry? At that moment, Lu Changxing turned to look at not far away, at the eldest lady draped in white, surpassing the purity of snow, her figure slender and graceful, smiling as he spoke. Since Lu Miaoge had come along with Lu Miaohuan, she must be aware of the robber cultivator incident and was worried about him as well. It's good that you're all right. Seeing Lu Changxing unharmed, Lu Miaoge's heart was filled with immense joy. Yet even with such happiness in such a situation, she wouldn't act like her sister Lu Miaohuan and throw herself at Lu Changxing. She just smiled softly and spoke in a gentle voice. Her beautiful, unadorned face, as splendid as morning glow on snow, was exceptionally stunning. Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the other women saw Lu Miaohuan embrace their husband and cover her face as she ran off. Then they saw their husband and the eldest lady smiling and talking to each other. One gentle and genial, as if bathed in the spring breeze. The other pure and ethereal, as elegant as an immortal. Watching them, they felt an indescribable sense of perfect harmony. Since you're all right, I'm relieved. I'll go check on Huan Huan. Lu Miaoge didn't stay for long. With this situation and Lu Changxing's many wives and concubines here, she felt quite uncomfortable and a bit out of place. Especially in the presence of Lu Miaoyun, she felt a sense of guilt and inadequacy. Typically, she hardly dared to meet Lu Miaoyun, and it was only because she was worried about Lu Changxing that she had taken the initiative to come over. Sister Miaoge, let me walk you out. Lu Changxing, seeing her reaction, quickly stepped forward and said. Lu Miaoge intended to say it wasn't necessary. But seeing Lu Changxing already walking over to her, she pursed her lips lightly and said nothing. Sister Miaoge, have you recovered? Lu Changxing asked casually. Initially, under his treatment, Lu Miaoge's life had been stabilized, but her injuries were severe and she needed recuperation. She returned to recover. It's almost completely healed. Lu Miaoge said softly. That's good then. Lu Changxing nodded. There was a silence between them. As they left the back courtyard and reached the front courtyard, Lu Changxing grasped Lu Miaoge's hand and said, Sister Miaoge, I've missed you. Lu Miaoge's hand was clasped by Lu Changxing. Hearing these words, she suddenly stiffened, her heart fluttering. She also felt shy, fearing that this scene was seen by others. Sister Miaoge, did you miss me? Lu Changxing looked at Lu Miaoge's ears, which were slightly tinged with red, and leaned in to ask. Lu Miaoge's cheeks flushed red, and after a moment she whispered, I missed you too. I'm going to check on Huan Huan. She then wriggled out of Lu Changxing's grasp and quickly left, looking somewhat flustered. Watching Lu Miaoge's retreating figure, Lu Changxing shook his head slightly and chuckled, returning to the back courtyard. Just as he returned to the back courtyard, he saw Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the rest of his wives and concubines looking at him with faces full of curiosity and gossip. I ran into a little accident on the way back from Nine Dragons Market, making the second young lady believe I was in trouble, which is why she was so excited upon knowing I returned. Lu Changxing cleared his throat and explained to his wives. Oh, so that's what happened. Chu Jinjin showed a suddenly enlightened expression, yet her teasing smile clearly showed disbelief. It's fine, husband. Since there are already so many sisters at home, why not marry Sister Miaoge and Sister Miaohuan too? Lu Miaoyun spoke up, her lips curling into a light smile. As the official wife, she had come to terms with Lu Changxing's practice of taking more wives and concubines. Thinking of how Lu Changxing always brings women home, it might be better to marry both Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan. After all, it meant keeping the wealth within the family. Moreover, she knew that her husband wanted to have children with good spiritual roots. And both Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan had middle-grade spiritual roots. If they bore children, the chances of having offspring with middle-grade spiritual roots in the future were quite high. What are you talking about? Although Lu Changxing did harbor such thoughts, he obviously couldn't agree outright at that moment. Husband, I'm serious, Lu Miaoyun said with a tinge of coyness. Yes, Sister Yun is right. Every time I see husband and Sister Miaoge together, I feel they are an excellent match, Chu Jinjin chimed in. Well now, to think that you're making fun of me. It seems you all haven't had a proper family rule to follow for quite some time, Lu Changxing said, feeling a warm flush inside, thinking of how thoughtful and considerate his young wife was. As he was about to apply a family rule to his wives, the fourth elder arrived. Grandmother. Grandmother. Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun both tidied their clothes a bit and came out to greet her. Chu Jinjin and the other women also followed suit, greeting her with respect. Changxing, I'm relieved that you're all right, said the fourth elder, who had also heard that Lu Changxing had returned and came over to check. Seeing that Lu Changxing was fine, she too felt relieved. With Lu Miaoyun and all the other women present, she didn't inquire into how Lu Changxing had escaped being pursued. She simply chatted for a while and then went to see the grandchildren. On a mountain peak thousands of miles away from Nine Dragons Market. What's going on? It's been 2 days already, why haven't they arrived? Could something have happened? Does the Lu family secretly have a master hidden among them? Chapter 226. Don't let the riches flow into others' fields. A man in black with a mask, his breath somewhat disordered, murmured to himself. He thought of how his 3 companions had only been pursuing a few juniors from the Lu family, and if it hadn't been for an accident, it would have been impossible for them not to arrive at the designated meeting place after 2 days. Having waited until nightfall without seeing a trace of his companions, the masked man decided not to wait any longer. He took out a set of clothes from his storage bag to change his appearance. Transforming into a burly man with a square face wearing a purple robe, he piloted a flying artifact towards the Nine Dragons marketplace. The next day, family head Lu Yuanding and others called Lu Changxing over and inquired about the situation. Lu Changxing had long thought of an explanation for his narrow escape. He claimed that he had come across a body-protecting talisman at the marketplace for loose cultivators. It was with this talisman that he had managed to escape death by using an escape talisman. After listening to his story, Lu Yuanding and the others were somewhat surprised but did not ask too many questions. After all, there was no need to investigate such matters too deeply. Regardless of the truth, what Lu Changxing had done was for the Lu family, and he deserved praise. Changxing, your actions are indeed commendable. The family will remember this and reward you with 1,000 family contribution points. However, you must not take such risks in the future, Lu Yuanding said. His gaze towards Lu Changxing carried a hint of admiration. In his impression, Lu Changxing had always been a cautious and steady man. But this time, he had shown a daring spirit and the poise of a great general. This altered his impression of Lu Changxing. He couldn't help but feel that during his initial visit to the Qingyun sect to seek a son-in-law, he had managed to bring back such an outstanding individual. Thank you, family head, Lu Changxing said with a slight bow. 1,000 contribution points were equivalent to 1,000 spirit stones. Moreover, using contribution points to purchase items within the Lu family was like getting a discount of 20 to 30% off the external market price. Thus, this reward was quite significant. Changxing, as you know the family's current situation, will need you to draw more talismans in the coming time. Rest assured you'll earn 10% more contribution points for the talismans you draw during this period, continued Lu Yuanding. Understood, family head, Lu Changxing replied with a bow. For him, with a second-ranked talisman-making skill and a 100% success rate in talisman crafting, drawing a few extra was no problem. That's all then. Is there anything you want to ask? Lu Yuanding spoke. Family head, how long will this assembly of clan members last? Should I avoid going out during this time? Lu Changxing asked. It had been a year since he had sent his wife, concubines, kids, Lu Lanshu and Lu Pingan to the ordinary world. He hadn't yet had the chance to visit them even once. Therefore Lu Changxing also wanted to make a trip to check on his family. Moreover, he had recently received a letter from Hong Yi. It said Xia Zhaoyang had a 4th grade spiritual root. Having passed the Qingyun sect's examination, he had successfully been accepted into the sect. At the same time, the cultivator behind the annihilation of Chu Zhenshin's whole family had been investigated. It was a Qi refinement 5th-layer cultivator. Hong Yi and Li Feiyu had taken him into custody directly and imprisoned him in the Rui Marquis mansion, waiting for Lu Changxing's disposition. Therefore Lu Changxing planned to take Chu Zhenshin with him on a trip to the ordinary world. The time could be as short as 2 to 3 months or as long as around a year. As for going out, if there's no emergency or important matter, you should stay in Qingzhou Mountain for the time being, Lu Yuanding said after a moment of thought. 2 to 3 months or as long as a year, Lu Changxing nodded slightly and said, there's nothing urgent, I just wanted to visit the children I sent to the ordinary world. Since it's not something urgent or significant, you should stay put for the time being, Lu Yuanding said. Yes, family head. Lu Changxing nodded his head again, not questioning any further, and took his leave. He had a nagging feeling that the Lu family's move to recall all its members wasn't just because of the Qin family's attack. It was as if they were preparing some major move. Otherwise, why call everyone back when the Lu family ancestor was on the brink of death? Shouldn't the family members scatter and lie low to preserve their bloodline? Without speculating further, Lu Changxing left the Great Hall. After this is over, I can talk to Lu Changxing about Huaner. I wonder whether he will agree this time. Lu Yuanding watched Lu Changxing's retreating figure, his thoughts turning to his daughter as he let out a sigh. He had seen how his daughter had lost her appetite and spirit these past few days. He knew his daughter's heart was set on Lu Changxing, determined to marry no one else. He didn't mind the issue of Lu Changxing having multiple wives and concubines. As for marrying Lu Miaohuan to Lu Changxing, he wasn't against it. After all, in his view, aside from the many wives and children, Lu Changxing was an excellent candidate in every aspect. Marrying Lu Miaohuan to him would also be a good choice. But the current problem was, while his daughter was willing and wanted to get married, it still depended on Lu Changxing's agreement. He certainly couldn't beg Lu Changxing, could he? Sigh. Thinking this, Lu Yuanding sighed again. He felt as a father he was truly anxious. Lu Changxing. Just as Lu Changxing had not walked too far from the estate, he heard a pleasing and engaging voice. Turning his head, he saw the second young Miss, Lu Miaohuan, waving and quickly approaching him. Today she was wearing a dark black dress embroidered with gold thread. Her curvaceous figure was perfectly outlined by the fitted dress, graceful and undulating. Chapter 227. Don't let the riches flow into others' fields. A pair of full and straight beautiful legs were faintly visible beneath the hem of her dress, wrapped in thin black silk stockings, sensual and inviting. On her feet were a pair of black high heels with slender heels and golden patterns. This outfit bore some resemblance to the clothes Lu Changxing had first seen Lu Miaohuan wearing. Only now, comparatively speaking, the dress had become much more conservative. It did not reveal her pale, round shoulders and delicate clavicles. 2nd Mississippi. Lu Changxing looked at Lu Miaohuan and said, Lu Changxing, here are your talismans, we didn't use them last time. Lu Miaohuan was holding a stack of talismans, taking small steps, her high heels clacking click clack click. This sound of footsteps was somehow lighter and more brisk than usual. Thank you for going out of your way to bring them over, Lu Changxing glanced at them and said with a smile. It's no trouble. Lu Miaohuan shook her head with a slight blush on her cheeks. Then she said softly, Thank you for before. Thank me for what? Lu Changxing looked at the second miss, who was originally proud and aloof, now frequently blushing and felt somewhat emotional. He still preferred her look of noble coolness. For what happened on the way back? Lu Changxing, why did you step off the flying boat at that time? Didn't you know it was dangerous? Aren't you afraid of death? Lu Miaohuan asked. I knew and I was afraid, Lu Changxing said casually. If you were scared, why did you still do it? It was so dangerous. Lu Miaohuan kept asking. Although Lu Changxing was fine now, she still felt terrified when she thought back to that moment. She had no idea how Lu Changxing managed to escape death. At that time, it was necessary to draw one person away, otherwise, we all would have been in danger. And I felt I was the most suitable, so I stood up. Otherwise, if we had kept delaying, what if you, second miss, were to run into danger? Lu Changxing looked at the second miss and teased her with a laugh. Lu Miaohuan, seeing his narrow smile and joking tone, knew he was intentionally teasing her. But she also felt that Lu Changxing was deliberately telling the truth in a joking manner. If the second miss feels moved, you could give me a hug like yesterday to express your gratitude, Lu Changxing said with a near smile, looking at Lu Miaohuan's expression. Dream on. Lu Miaohuan, recalling her embarrassing behavior from the day before, huffed cutely and turned to leave. But after a few steps, she suddenly turned around and hugged Lu Changxing. Is this good enough? Just as Lu Changxing was about to say something in that moment, his body couldn't help but stiffen slightly, because he saw family head Lu Yuanding just coming out. Oh? Lu Miaohuan saw Lu Changxing fall silent. She turned her head too and immediately saw her father. Instantly, she felt a wave of embarrassment. She hadn't expected her father to witness her hugging Lu Changxing, and she immediately let go of him, hanging her head. It seems my earlier concerns were unnecessary. Lu Yuanding, seeing the scene, shook his head slightly and pretended not to have seen it, turning back around. He had not expected his daughter's relationship with Lu Changxing to have progressed to this extent. At the same time, he felt that Lu Changxing was not as simple as he appeared. It's all your fault. Lu Miaohuan, seeing her father pretending not to have seen and turning back, told Lu Changxing a bit irritably. She didn't dare say much more to Lu Changxing and hurried home. P.S. I'm very sleepy, will make up the word count during the day. Alas, I don't really like writing this kind of plot either. You probably find it stiff and am struggling over every word. But it feels like, even as an emotionless sewing machine, the story has come to this point, and it's inevitable for the two sisters to wrap things up, so I have to write a bit. Chapter 228. The New Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator to Battle. _1 To be caught by the family head, that's really... As Lu Changxing walked back, he thought about how he had just been held by Lu Miaohuan when Lu Yuanding appeared, and he couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. However, he didn't feel embarrassed at all. Nowadays, the second miss temperament has also improved somewhat. Lu Changxing was also somewhat confident that he could handle the second Mississippi. In such a situation, he could also consider taking the second miss back to his family. So, being seen was just being seen. He would just treat it as giving his future father-in-law some mental preparation in advance. Speaking of which, should I let the family head unintentionally see me with the eldest miss someday, to give him a bit of mental preparation? Lu Changxing couldn't help but think to himself. But as soon as the thought arose, he felt it was better to put it on hold for now. Otherwise, he was really afraid that Lu Yuanding would chop him up with a sword. After all, no father could stand it if one man snatched away both daughters he had raised. But there's still a long way to go. Thinking of the eldest miss' current situation, Lu Changxing shook his head. It seemed that taking both sisters back to his family wouldn't be so simple. There's a saying, let things flow naturally when the boat reaches the pier, so Lu Changxing didn't think much about it and went home. In the following days, Lu Changxing still spent his days cultivating, making talismans, and spending time with his wives and concubines. In his spare time, he also used his skills in puppetry to create simple wooden oxen and horses, mechanical men and mechanical beasts as toys for the children. This was also a way to let people know that he had dabbled into some puppetry skills. Seeing the children's love for the toys made with puppetry, Lu Changxing suddenly thought of a saying. Interest is the best teacher for a child. He then thought he could perhaps stimulate the children's interest in puppetry through this approach. If the children had some talent in puppetry, they could then be trained towards becoming puppet masters. Although puppetry wasn't as esteemed as other skills like alchemy, formation, equipment, and talisman making, it was nevertheless considered a decent skill. And for children without a spiritual root, having some knowledge in puppetry, when venturing into the mortal world, would certainly be a useful skill. They could create things like wooden oxen and horses, wooden birds, mechanical beasts, armillary spheres, earthquake instruments, among other mechanisms. Straight away, whenever Lu Changxing had free time, he would work with the children to create some simple mechanical toys. And he would explain some knowledge related to puppetry. In the blink of an eye, more than half a month passed. During these times, Lu family disciples continually returned to Qingzhou Mountain. Lu Changxing heard from Lu Miaoyun that quite a few Lu family disciples had been attacked and killed on their way back. Moreover, due to the summoning of the family's disciples, many of the Lu family's territories had been encroached upon by the Qin family. Like the spirit stone mine that was contested between the Lu family and the Qin family, it was now under the control of the Qin family. During this period, some of the Lu family's guest elders also chose to leave the family. Lu Changxing saw all this happen and knew it was inevitable. After all, to most people in the current struggle between the Lu family and the Qin family, it was clear that the Qin family had the upper hand. Once the Lu family ancestor died, the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain would essentially be extinct in name and in reality. As an ordinary guest elder, it was natural not to want to share in the family's resources and rise or fall with the Lu family. If he wasn't so deeply tied to the Lu family with so many wives and children, even Lu Changxing would choose to leave. But Lu Changxing always felt that this wave of summoning all the clan members back wasn't so simple. Otherwise, he really couldn't understand what was the point of gathering all the clan members. It certainly wasn't just to defend Qingzhou Mountain. Or to fight a decisive battle with the Qin family, right? This kind of act was completely against the logic of the cultivation world. There's a saying, if you preserve the people but lose the land, both will eventually be lost. If you preserve the land but lose the people, both will eventually be preserved. For a cultivation family like the Lu family, what should be done at this time is to preserve their strength. Wait for a new foundation establishment great cultivator to emerge. Not to defend Qingzhou Mountain or struggle for immediate benefits, potentially sacrificing the entire family. Before he knew it, 3 months had passed. Because of the current situation of the Lu family, and the need to consider fleeing with his wives and children at any moment, Lu Changxing did not let his wives and maids conceive during these times. After all, it would be quite troublesome if the Lu family crisis happened just as a child was being born. Or if his wives were all pregnant at that time. Thinking that the situation of the Lu family would last for some time, Lu Changxing decided to postpone having more children for a while. And he let his wives and maids have a good rest. The absence of new births for such a long time made Lu Miaoyun, Chu Jinjin, and the other wives feel that something wasn't right, and they asked Lu Changxing what was going on. If not for the fact that Lu Changxing was still vigorous and passionate every night, it would be difficult for him to explain. On this day, Lu Bo came to Lu Changxing's residence. He said that the family head had summoned all Lu family disciples to gather at the central plaza of Qingzhou Mountain. All Lu family disciples gathering? Lu Bo, has something happened? Lu Changxing asked. He had been in Qingzhou Mountain for 10 years now. He had never encountered such an event. He couldn't help but speculate whether the Lu family was preparing for a major battle with the Qin family or planning a mass relocation away from Qingzhou Mountain. I'm not sure about the details, I'm just relaying the message, you'll know once you get there, Lu Bo said. All right. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing didn't ask any further questions. He walked towards the central plaza of Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Miaohuan. Upon arrival at the central plaza, Lu Changxing saw the many Lu family disciples and guest elders gathered there. Chapter 229, The New Foundation Building Great Cultivator to Battle. This was the first time he had seen so many people at Qingzhou Mountain. After all, he usually led a reclusive life and barely went out. Or it could be said that most cultivators did not like to venture outside. People kept arriving one after another. After about a quarter of an hour, nearly everyone had arrived. In the plaza, many people were whispering amongst themselves, speculating about why the family had summoned everyone here. But none knew what the matter was. It was at this time. 2 surging and majestic auras of spiritual pressure burst forth. Everyone looked up. They immediately saw an elder with the appearance of a young boy despite his white hair, wearing a Qingzhou robe and with a dignified face, flying through the air. Next to this elder, there was a scholarly-looking middle-aged man dressed in a blue robe, about 40 years old. To everyone's surprise, this middle-aged man, just like the Lu family ancestor, was exuding a terrifying aura of spiritual pressure. And he was also flying through the air. We pay our respects to the ancestor. We pay our respects to the ancestor. We pay our respects to the ancestor. At this moment, everyone shouted in unison, bowing in salute. Flying through the air? Has the Lu family brought forth a new foundation building great cultivator? Seeing this scene, Lu Changxing was also astonished and bowed in salute. Flying through the air was something only achievable after breaking through to foundation establishment. It was also a symbol and characteristic of a foundation building great cultivator. This scholarly man who was flying next to the Lu family ancestor was indicating that he was a foundation-building great cultivator. Silence. The Lu family ancestor spoke indifferently, quieting the clamor in the plaza. Then he swept his gaze over everyone and said, "Today I have an announcement to make. As you all can see, Yuan Zhong has broken through to foundation establishment." The aged voice of the Lu family ancestor was not loud, but it clearly reached everyone's ears. "We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong. We pay respects to Ancestor Yuan Zhong." Upon hearing the words of the Lu family ancestor, confirming that Lu Yuanzhong had become a foundation-building great cultivator, all the Lu family disciples were overcome with excitement and fervor. The Lu family members who had felt a bit repressed during this period suddenly swept away all traces of gloom. With their emotions surging like a tidal wave, they shouted together, "Lu Yuanzhong, the Lu family has actually brought forth a new foundation-building great cultivator." Lu Changxing, hearing these words, was also thrilled inside. After all, the emergence of a new foundation-building great cultivator in the Lu family meant that the crisis at Qingzhou Mountain would be resolved. He no longer needed to worry about the need to flee with his wives and children. He could continue to live in Qingzhou Mountain peacefully and steadily. Because, unless it was absolutely necessary, Lu Changxing really did not want to reveal his true strength. In the eyes of others, he was only a 9th-grade spiritual root. Exposing too much strength would easily draw attention and make him a target. It was bound to bring about many unnecessary troubles. By the way, the family head, the second elder and the others, could they have already known about this ancestor Yuanzhong of the Lu family? Lu Changxing looked at the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong on the high platform and suddenly thought to himself. He recalled Lu Yuanding and the second elder's reassurances that the Lu family had a hidden depth. Moreover, Lu Changxing knew that breaking through to the foundation establishment stage would provoke the spirit energy of heaven and earth, causing a significant disturbance. In those 3 months he had always been in Qingzhou, and he hadn't sensed any signs of someone breaking through to foundation establishment. This indicated that Ancestor Yuanzhong might not have achieved his breakthrough in this period. Of course, it was also possible that the Lu family had used some means to conceal the signs and phenomena of the breakthrough. The Chen family has bullied us Lu family too far. Today, with my achievement of foundation establishment, is also the day for our Lu family to counterattack. The ancestor has already formed an alliance with 100 Birds Lake by family and intends to march to Red Leaf Valley today to destroy the Chen family, eradicating Red Leaf Valley Chen family from the cultivation world. At this moment, Lu Yuanzhong, the newly promoted foundation establishment ancestor of the Lu family, looked at everyone and declared with a resonant voice. The simple words set the blood of all Lu family disciples boiling. For these past few months or even years, every member of the Lu family had been harboring a sense of frustration. Their hatred for the Red Leaf Valley Chen family had accumulated for over a decade. Now that the Lu family had given birth to their second foundation-building great cultivator and was preparing to counterattack the Chen family, how could they not be excited and moved? They felt as if they were invigorated with renewed energy, their hearts tumultuous with excitement. They could hardly wait to follow the two ancestors and make their move against the Chen family. So urgent? It seems that Ancestor Yuanzhong broke through to foundation establishment a long time ago, but kept it a secret, consolidating his cultivation realm or waiting for the right moment. No wonder the family head has been urging me to make more talismans all this past year. During this period, the family has also been covertly acquiring talismans, elixir medicines, puppets, and other treasures. It appears it was all in preparation for this battle. Lu Changxing, hearing Lu Yuanzhong's words, had a sudden realization. He finally understood why the Lu family had called all their family disciples back. It was all in preparation for this moment. The Chen family wanted to devour and take over the Lu family. But similarly, the Lu family also wanted to take down the Chen family and advance further. With the Lu family ancestors' grand birthday approaching, it seemed that they wanted to use this opportunity to give their last bit of strength to the Lu family. With two foundation-building great cultivators, allied with 100 Birds Lake by family, that makes 3 foundation-building great cultivators. True, although the Chen family has only one foundation establishment ancestor, Red Leaf Valley is also protected by a formation. If there were only 2 foundation-building great cultivators, it still might not be enough to break through. And even if the Lu family did conquer the Chen family, there would be significant casualties. Relying solely on the Lu family would make it difficult to take over the spirit vein of Red Leaf Valley, hence why they brought in the 100 Birds Lake Bai family who has had good relations with the Lu family for generations. With the addition of the Bai family ancestor, with 3 foundation-building great cultivators, this battle should be nearly certain. Even if the Qin family seeks reinforcements from Wugong Ridge Zheng family, the Zheng family would not be able to assist in time. Chapter 230, The New Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator to Battle. Lu Changxing pondered in his heart. The Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain had been on good terms for generations with the Bai family of White Bird Lake. As for the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley, they also maintained friendly relations with the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge. But now, if the Lu family and the Bai family, with their 3 foundation establishment great cultivators, were to strike the Qin family with the force of thunder, it was improbable that the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge could come to the rescue so quickly. After Lu Yuanzhong finished speaking, Lu Yuanding and a group of Lu family elders and clan seniors appeared. They summoned all the Lu family disciples who were at the late stage of qi refinement or above. Following the 2 ancestors, they set out to strike at the Qin family. There would be rewards based on merit afterward. And every person who registered was to be issued talismans, elixir medicines, magic artifacts, and treasures. Changxing Miaoyun, follow your grandmother over later, said the 4th elder as he came over with 2 packets containing talismans, elixir medicines and magic artifacts for Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun, and spoke out. This battle was a general mobilization of the entire Lu family. All Lu family disciples above the middle stage of qi refinement had to take part. Consequently, Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun were no exception. For the Lu family, this battle was deemed a sure-win situation. There was no danger anticipated. Having all the family disciples participate was also an opportunity to gain experience, expand horizons, and strengthen their sense of belonging to the family. Yes, grandmother, Lu Changxing replied. He had wondered if he could avoid going, just wait at the Lu family for the good news. But unexpectedly, the 4th elder came and involved both him and Lu Miaoyun. He understood that such a full family mobilization was unavoidable. To not participate would be akin to desertion. So he accepted the call, went along to see what a battle at the level of foundation establishment great cultivators looked like. After all, he had yet to witness the power of a foundation establishment great cultivator. This would give him a chance to gauge the strength of foundation establishment cultivators, so he would know what to expect when facing one in the future. Good, just follow your grandmother later. There won't be any danger, said the 4th elder in a gentle and kindly tone. All right, grandmother, Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun nodded in agreement. At that moment, Lu Changxing also noticed Lu Yuanding instructing his 2 daughters about something. Apparently they were also going to participate. No one could be exempted. Half a day later, the Lu family gathered all the disciples who were going to battle. Besides the 2 foundation establishment ancestors, there were a total of 4 cultivators at the 9th level energy refinement, 13 at the energy refinement late stage, and more than 50 at the middle stage. Those at the initial stage of qi refinement were not allowed to join in. Even though this battle was expected to be an easy victory, the Lu family would not bring along cultivators at the initial stage of qi refinement, since such strength would not only be of little use but might also drag down the others. Changxing Miaoyun, called the 4th elder. He released a flying boat, calling Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun aboard, along with a few other Lu family disciples filling up the boat. Depart for battle, shouted the Lu family ancestor after the assembly was complete, leading the way with Lu Yuanzhong on flying swords. 5 small flying boats followed, carrying a legion of Lu family disciples. Some Lu family elders and guest elders rode on flying mounts on both sides of the boats. They left Qingzhou Mountain in a mighty procession, heading towards the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley. Meanwhile, Qingzhou Mountain was left with only a few clan seniors who activated the mountain protection array, guarding the mountain, to prevent anyone from taking advantage of their absence. Simultaneously, in Red Leaf Valley, a slender youth was cultivating bees and insects, when suddenly he felt somewhat unsettled in his mind and spirit. It's uncertain how many years the Lu family ancestor has left. Otherwise, if this delay continues, the effect of the Lockhart goo will become increasingly significant on me, murmured Meng Xiaochan to herself. Because of the Lockhart goo, she could not directly kill Lu Changxing. Upon hearing that the Lu family ancestor did not have many years left and learning of the enmity between the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain and the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley, she came up with a plan and went to Red Leaf Valley to become a cultivator of the Qin family, hoping to use the might of the Qin family to annihilate the Lu family. Then she would find a way to have Ancestor Qin indirectly kill Lu Changxing and retrieve the Lockhart Gu. P.S. My condition is really not good after staying up late, so I need to rest a bit. Chapter 231. No Lu Lang. _1 Qingzhou Mountain wasn't very far from Red Leaf Valley. The journey was just over 1,000 li. It was precisely because of their proximity that both families often fought over resources around their clan territories, leading to conflicts. An incident involving a spirit stone mine over 10 years ago had become the flashpoint for all these conflicts. It had led both families into an all-out conflict, creating an irreconcilable blood feud. After the Lu family's main forces had traveled several hundred li, Lu Changxing saw a formidable and impressive army heading in their direction. Leading this army was an elderly man with an old face and a tall figure, wearing a robe embroidered with flying birds. He stood with his hands behind his back, his black bird-embroidered robe fluttering in the wind, riding atop a black hawk with a formidable presence. Following him were 3 flying boats and a group of cultivators riding spirit birds. Brother Lu Daoist Yuanzhong. The old man greeted the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong with a clasped fist. Brother Bai. Daoist Bai. The Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong also returned the gesture to the Bai family ancestor. After a brief exchange, they led their respective troops and hastened towards Red Leaf Valley. It was clear they had planned to meet here. Is this the 100 Birds Lake Bai family and the Bai family ancestor? Lu Changxing looked towards the large troop from the Bai family traveling with them. About 60 people in total. Aside from the Bai family ancestor, who was a foundation-building great cultivator, the strength and the number of the energy-refining cultivators seemed roughly equal to those of the Lu family. However, Lu Changxing knew that excluding Lu Yuanzhong, who had just recently achieved foundation establishment, the overall strength of the Bai family was slightly stronger than the Lu family's. It seemed the Bai family hadn't, like the Lu family, completely emptied out their clan's forces to commit to this battle. 100 Birds Lake is teeming with spirit fish and other aquatic products, attracted by many spirit birds that come to the lake to hunt. Thus, Bai family cultivators are mostly adept in the art of beast taming, not just fishing but also capturing and domesticating spirit birds to earn spirit stones. Lu Changxing once again observed the spirit birds ridden by the Bai family troops. They were noticeably quite good. Not just typical transport spirit birds like iron feather eagles. They ought to possess some combat capabilities. The majestic black hawk beneath the feet of the Bai family ancestor, for instance, was probably a peak first-grade demon beast. When we arrive at Red Leaf Valley, you don't need to disembark from the flying boat, just follow my instructions, said the 4th elder as they neared Red Leaf Valley. He began to instruct those on the flying boat, including Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun, on what to do upon arrival. The first step was to form up. Then, using talismans and attack formations issued by the family, they would begin breaking through the formation. Once the great formation was breached, they would follow the 4th elder in the assault. Clearly, the Lu family and the Bai family had a detailed plan prepared for this battle. Yes, Grandma? Yes, 4th elder. The people on the flying boat nodded and replied. 2 hours later, everyone get ready, we're approaching Red Leaf Valley now. Lu Yuanzhong announced, his booming voice reaching everyone's ears. The eager Lu family young disciples, stirred upon hearing this, braced themselves and focused attentively. So this is Red Leaf Valley? Lu Changxing gazed forward, immediately spotting a place shrouded and obscured by formations, hazy to the point where only a vast expanse of crimson could be seen. This was his first visit to Red Leaf Valley. He knew that, like Qingzhou Mountain, Red Leaf Valley was known for a particular type of red leaf tree. Meanwhile, within Red Leaf Valley, not good, enemy attack. The Qin family scouts stationed for patrol, seeing the flying boats and cultivators approaching from afar in the sky toward Red Leaf Valley, instantly changed their expressions, realizing something was amiss. They urgently relayed a message to their clan, signaling an enemy assault. At the same time, they activated the Great Formation's defenses at full strength. The large forces of the Lu family and the Bai family arrived around Red Leaf Valley and began to fan out systematically. They surrounded Red Leaf Valley from various directions. 2 array masters proficient in formations then took out their instruments, beginning to set up formations around the perimeter of Red Leaf Valley. One was a formation to prevent the Qin family cultivators from escaping. The other was to break through the Qin family's second-rank Great Formation. Everyone get ready, begin breaking the formation. The Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor didn't bother with pomp and ceremony. with a simple raise of their hands, they ordered everyone to start breaking the formation. The next moment. Boom boom boom. Boom boom boom. Boom boom boom. All Lu family and Bai family cultivators pulled out talismans, cast spells, and launched bold spiritual light attacks, slamming into the second-rank Great Formation of Red Leaf Valley. The formation's shield rippled and thundered in response. Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun, along with the fourth elder, joined in the assault from the southeast side of Red Leaf Valley, activating their talismans to bombard the Great Formation. It seems that war is always a drain on resources no matter where. Lu Changxing couldn't help thinking to himself as he watched the unfolding scene. Even with 3 Foundation Establishment Great Cultivators from the Lu and Bai families, breaking through the Qin family's second-rank Great Formation was not going to be easy. They had no choice but to force their way through. And such an assault was, frankly, just burning money. Each wave of attacks cost hundreds of spirit stones. To break through the Qin family's second-rank Great Formation would likely require tens of thousands of spirit stones. In front of Red Leaf Valley, the Lu family ancestor looked towards the Great Formation of Red Leaf Valley, and transmitted a message to Lu Yuanzhong, who was beside him. Yuanzhong, when the Great Formation breaks, you stay back and press the attack, try not to get involved. Otherwise, in desperation, Old Ghost Qin might decide to target you for a suicidal struggle. I, the ancestor, don't have much longer to live, so I have no worries. It's a good opportunity to exterminate him and remove future troubles, said the Lu family ancestor in a grave tone. Although they had 3 Foundation Establishment Great Cultivators on their side, facing a single Ancestor Qin, success seemed almost certain. But there was always the chance that Ancestor Qin had some tricks up his sleeve. Chapter 232. No Lu Lang. In a desperate struggle like a cornered beast, they staked everything in a fight to the death, hoping to take down Lu Yuanzhong and plunge his Lu family into crisis. After all, the Lu family ancestors' time was almost up. For the sake of Lu Yuanzhong's foundation establishment in this battle, the Lu family had expended a great deal. They no longer had the ability to cultivate a second foundation establishment cultivator. Therefore, Lu Yuanzhong absolutely could not have any mishaps. Ancestor. Lu Yuanzhong was visibly moved. He knew in his heart that the ancestor had already resolved to face death in this battle. He was prepared to gamble with his life to kill Ancestor Qin. Otherwise, they couldn't possibly have convinced the Bai family ancestor to come and join this battle with so many people. Because once a family war like this began, it was essential to slay Ancestor Qin, this foundation establishment cultivator. If not, letting Ancestor Qin, a foundation-building great cultivator, escape would result in endless troubles for both the Qin and Bai families. Lu Old Ghost, Bai Old Ghost, do you really want to bring ruin to both our families? As the Great Formation spiritual light dimmed in Red Leaf Valley, a streak of light emerged, exuding a terrifying aura of spiritual pressure. It was Ancestor Qin. He quickly took command of the second-rank Great Formation at Qingzhou Mountain. The once dimming light under the siege now burst forth, shaping like an upside-down crystal bowl, indestructible. The fish may die, but the net may not break, the Lu family ancestor said with an indifferent expression. Then he shouted loudly, "Talisman to break the ban, break the formation." At his command, immediately, the cultivators of the Lu family and Bai family in the late stage of energy refinement each sacrificed a first-grade talisman towards the weakest part of the formation. The giant bowl that had just burst into light, looking like an upside-down crystal, abruptly became less luminous. Lu family's Lu Yuanzhong, you've actually broken through to foundation establishment. At this moment, Ancestor Qin saw Lu Yuanzhong standing next to the Lu family ancestor. His eyes narrowed sharply. The Qin family and Lu family were mortal enemies, so he naturally knew about the Lu family. He was aware of who had the potential to break through to foundation establishment. He recognized Lu Yuanzhong at a glance and saw that he had achieved foundation establishment. Lu Old Ghost, I didn't expect that before your death, your Lu family would actually produce a foundation establishment great cultivator. Ancestor Qin looked at the Lu family ancestor with a sullen face and spoke. He had thought that in a few more years the Lu family ancestor would die. Unexpectedly, at this crucial moment, the Lu family had a new foundation establishment great cultivator. He also understood that the Lu and Bai families came fully prepared, clearly intending to destroy his Qin family today. If the formation was breached, not only would the Qin family be doomed, facing the encirclement of 3 foundation establishment cultivators, he would hardly escape calamity. Old Ghost Qin, Do you really believe my Qin family is so easily bullied? Ancestor Chen let out a cold laugh, his expression extremely calm. He immediately transmitted a message, "Meng friend, please assist." In a short while, a streak of light flew through the sky, transforming into a skinny young man. Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator. How is this possible? How did the Qin family also have a second Foundation Establishment Cultivator? No, this person isn't from the Qin family. Even though the young man did not emit the pressure of Foundation Establishment, the Lu family ancestor by family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong could tell at a glance that he was a Foundation Establishment Cultivator. All their complexions changed instantly. They dared to come to Red Leaf Valley for this battle, relying on the strength of 3 Foundation Establishment Cultivators against the only one from the Qin family. With a 3-to-1 advantage, victory seemed certain for them. However, if it was 3 against 2, slaying Ancestor Chen would become very difficult. Moreover, in this battle they had to make a quick decision. To take down Red Leaf Valley with the swiftness of a thunderbolt. Otherwise, once the Wugong Ridge Jing family received the Qin family's call for help and hurried over, they would have no hope of capturing Red Leaf Valley. Ancestor. Lu brother, do we fight or retreat? Lu Yuanzhong and the Bai family ancestor turned to the Lu family ancestor, inquiring about his plan. The 3 had not anticipated that the Qin family would have a second Foundation Establishment Great Cultivator. For this trip to Red Leaf Valley, the Lu and Bai families had distributed resources to all their disciples, all of which were pure spirit stones. If they failed to capture Red Leaf Valley, it would mean a massive loss for both families. And now, choosing to retreat would greatly demoralize their families. The Lu family ancestor did not speak. His expression was extremely grim. He had not anticipated this situation. His life was nearly over without much time left. Once he passed away, the Lu family would be left with only Lu Yuanzhong, a great cultivator who had just broken through to Foundation Establishment. At that point, the Lu family would struggle mightily against the Qin family, and the Qin family might even join forces with the Wugong Ridge Jing family to attack their Qingzhou mountain. Fellow Taoist, you shouldn't be from the Qin family, right? This matter is a dispute between my Lu family and the Qin family. As long as you leave and do not join this battle, my Lu family is willing to offer a handsome reward. Or if you have any demands, you can state them, the Lu family ancestor said courteously to Meng Xiaochan as he made a polite gesture with his hands. He had noticed that the other party was not from the Qin family. He hoped that they would leave and not get involved in this battle. Meng friend, I have already sent a message to the Wugong Ridge Jing family. As soon as Ancestor Jing arrives, the crisis will be resolved, and my Qin family will not let you take action in vain. There will be a generous reward. Ancestor Qin also hurriedly spoke to Meng Xiaochan. Meng Xiaochan, having come over due to an old grudge with the Lu family, wanted to join the Qin family in destroying the Lu family for revenge and to gain a share of the spoils. But now, with 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators in front of him, he dared not bet that Meng Xiaochan would leave. Therefore, to get the help of Meng Xiaochan, a Foundation Establishment cultivator, he naturally had to pay a price. Meng Xiaochan did not speak, because at this moment she finally understood the source of her previous unease. Chapter 233. No Lu Lang. Lockhart Gu. After her breakthrough to Foundation Establishment, she could barely suppress the influence of the Lockhart Gu. But at this moment, her heart couldn't help but palpitate as affection began to permeate. Her divine sense involuntarily looked towards the southeast direction of Red Leaf Valley. She saw a handsome and upright young man on a flying boat in the distance. Kill him, he must be killed. Upon seeing Lu Changxing, the effect of the suppressed Lockhart Gu burst forth like a tide, instilling a sense of fear and dread in Meng Xiaoquan's heart. The only thought in her mind was to kill Lu Changxing quickly and retrieve the Lockhart Gu. Patriarch Qin, I can help you, but I need you to help me kill a cultivator from the Lu family right now, she said suddenly, clutching her chest and suppressing the agony brought on by the Lockhart Gu with a grave tone. Kill whom? Ancestor Qin directly inquired. I have taken an oath not to harm him, so as long as Patriarch Qin is willing to make a move, I am willing to help your Qin family through this calamity. He is on the flying boat in the southeast direction. Meng Xiaochan said through clenched teeth, her face contorted with pain and her voice strained. She took out a jade slip and handed it to Ancestor Qin. It was a portrayal of Lu Changxing. Ancestor Qin saw Meng Xiaoquan's painful expression and couldn't help but be surprised by her condition. He believed half of what Meng Xiaochan said. He surmised that she must be under some oath or curse. He internally remarked how overbearing the oath must be, to cause a foundation-building great cultivator such pain simply for harboring malice towards someone. However, in the cultivation world, there are all sorts of strange and bizarre methods. For example, some master-servant pacts that would cause the servant to be like this, unable to break free. Once they harbor malice, they would suffer from the backlash of the pact, leading to unbearable pain. Fine, I Chin will take on this task. Old Ghost Chin immediately agreed. At this moment he also had no choice but to agree. Otherwise, if Meng Xiaochan left, Red Leaf Valley would be in danger. Moreover, seeing Meng Xiaochan in such a state, he also knew, if Lu Changxing did not die and the great battle commenced, it might even affect the performance of his own strength as a foundation establishment adherent. Lu, old ghost, give up. This Ming Daoist friend is a cultivator under my Qin family, she will not leave. I have already sent a message to Daoist Zheng, it's still not too late for you to leave now. Immediately after, Ancestor Chen looked towards the Lu family ancestor and said coldly, continue breaking the formation. Upon hearing this, the Lu family ancestor ground his teeth and responded. For him, at this moment, the situation was like an arrow on the bowstring, impossible not to launch. Facing these circumstances, the Lu family also had no option to retreat. Brother Bai, don't worry, when the time comes I will use a secret technique. Even if I cannot fight off old Ghost Chin, I will make sure he suffers a severe blow and lead to a short life. The Lu family ancestor said to the Bai family ancestor with a heavy voice. Compared to the Lu family, the Bai family situation was somewhat better, and they could still retreat. So he had to continue fighting and ensure the Bai family ancestor was on board. Alright, since Brother Lu says so, I will continue to fight. Upon hearing this, the Bai family ancestor nodded in agreement. He also did not wish for the Chen family to become too powerful. He hoped that before the Lu family ancestor died, he could take the Qin family ancestor with him. Suddenly, the three foundation establishment cultivators exchanged glances and began to act, attacking the formation ahead to accelerate the breach in the Great Formation. Everyone form up. Ancestor Qin shouted loudly. He prompted the Qin family clansmen to operate their energy simultaneously, melding their qi into the formation to counter the attacks. But the Lu and Bai families came to this battle prepared and had made comprehensive arrangements. They not only distributed plenty of talismans for their clansmen to launch attacks with, they had also prepared many formation-breaking talismans, continuously weakening and lifting the restrictions of the formation. Furthermore, at this time, the array masters of the Lu and Bai families were also affecting the Red Leaf Valley's second-rank Great Formation with external formations. This won't do at this rate, it will be difficult to hold out until Daoist Zheng arrives, Ancestor Qin knew. The current situation made it hard to rely on the formation to last until the arrival of Bai family ancestor Zheng. Moreover, if this stalemate continued, his and his clanspeople's mana would be continually drained by the formation. By the time the formation was breached, he would be weakened and unable to avoid a disaster. Meng Daoist friend, I shall fulfill the agreement right now. Ancestor Chen made a decisive call. Planning to give up the Great Formation's defense, relying on himself and Meng Xiaochan to hold out until the Zheng family's reinforcements arrived. As his words fell, he took charge of the formation, causing a huge, glass-like hammer to appear above the second-rank Great Formation like a crystalline bowl, and smashed it heavily towards a flying boat in the southeast. What does old Ghost Chin think he's doing? Does he actually want to break through the defense and escape? No good, it's in the direction of the fourth elder. The Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong upon seeing this scene were all shocked. They did not expect Ancestor Chen to counterattack at this moment. Believing that he intended to tear through their defensive formation to flee, they hurriedly flew towards the southeast direction. Not good. In the southeast, aboard the flying boat, the fourth elder was commanding everyone to break the formation. Seeing Ancestor Chen suddenly take control of the formation and launch an offensive against them, her complexion drastically changed. With a slap on her storage bag, she activated a stack of first-rank supreme talismans for protection. All of them turned into layers of golden light, enveloping everyone. She also sacrificed a blue treasure bead that soared into the sky, bursting forth with dazzling light, in an attempt to block the towering hammer. Lu Changxing witnessed this scene, his own complexion changing. He never expected that in the midst of an advantageous battle, the Qin family would begin to counterattack, and it was aimed right at his side. He could clearly feel the terror of this strike. This was no longer a mere attack from an average Foundation establishment great cultivator. With the first-rank talismans of the Fourth Elder, it would likely be very difficult to defend. At this moment, Lu Changxing could no longer afford to hide his capabilities. He took out the only second-rank middle-grade defense talisman he had on him and immediately activated it. In the blink of an eye, a dense, golden divine light burst out from the talisman, forming a golden barrier that enveloped the entire flying boat, giving off an indestructible aura. Is that a second-rank talisman? The Fourth Elder, seeing the talisman Lu Changxing used, was shocked, recognizing it as a second-rank talisman. She did not expect Lu Changxing to possess a talisman of such rank. Without any time to ponder, bang! The giant hammer from the heavens had already smashed down hard. It directly crushed the blue treasure bead that the Fourth Elder had sacrificed into powder, causing the Fourth Elder's complexion to turn pale, and she let out a muffled groan. Bang, bang, bang! The hammer kept falling, causing the defenses formed by the Fourth Elder's several life-saving talismans to rapidly shatter within a few breaths. Only Lu Changxing's second-rank middle-grade talisman managed to slightly hold up for a moment. In that instant, Lu Changxing activated another second-rank lower-grade talisman, which formed another layer of golden light barrier. The Fourth Elder, with no time to be surprised or to think, drew several more talismans from her storage bag, activated them, and formed additional defenses. Ancestor Chen, seeing this scene, was also somewhat surprised. He had thought that one strike would easily kill everyone on the flying boat. Yet, these people actually had so many talismans, and even ones as protective as second-rank talismans. Kill? Ancestor Chen's expression turned ferocious. He continued to draw power from the formation, seeking to annihilate Lu Changxing and the others. However, at this moment, Lu Yuanzhong and the Lu family ancestor also arrived. Seeing the Fourth Elder and Lu Changxing struggling to resist, they immediately brought out their spiritual artifacts and cast spells to block the formation hammer. Meanwhile, Meng Xiaochan inside the Great Formation watched this unfold. Seeing Ancestor Chen controlling the formation to attack Lu Changxing, she felt not the slightest pleasure. Clutching her chest tightly, she was in extreme agony, gasping for breath, with heartache as if being cut by knives, and tears starting to flow from the corners of her eyes. Quick, quick! She could feel the influence of the Lockhart goo and the affection in her heart causing her to gradually lose her sanity. The last bit of reason in her mind urged her to implore Ancestor Chen to quickly kill Lu Changxing. But in the next instant, under the influence of the Lockhart goo and the affection spreading through her heart, she finally could no longer maintain her clear consciousness. No, Lu Lang. Meng Xiaochan suddenly looked up, crying out loudly, her tearful eyes gazing toward Ancestor Chen as he moved against Lu Changxing, feeling a surge of murderous intent fill her heart. All of a sudden she soared into the sky, charging at Ancestor Chen, who was controlling the formation. Chapter 234. Is Lu Lang Lu Changxing? Underscore 1. What's going on? Why is Preceptor Meng attacking the Ancestor? Ancestor, be careful. Inside Red Leaf Valley, as the Chen family cultivators were channeling their energy to fortify the Great Formation, they were shocked to see Meng Xiaochan suddenly soar into the sky with purple flames appearing in her hands, launching an attack on Ancestor Chen. Not only them. Outside Red Leaf Valley, the Lu family ancestor, Lu Yuanzhong, and others who were breaking the formation were also startled by this scene. They were utterly confused. They couldn't understand the situation with this Chen family preceptor. Why she suddenly made a move against Ancestor Chen. But they saw Meng Xiaochan conjure a cluster of purple flames between her hands. Then, with a clap of her hands, a purple fire serpent formed, radiating strong mana fluctuations as it charged at Ancestor Chen. Preceptor Meng, what are you doing? Ancestor Chen also sensed something was amiss, quickly turned around, and exclaimed in alarm upon seeing the approaching fire serpent. He hastily took out an ice-blue talisman and activated it. In an instant, a horrifying cold wind swept out, seemingly freezing heaven and earth, creating multiple ice walls in front of him to block the fire serpent. The fire serpent roared, rapidly melting the ice walls. Dare to hurt Lu Lang, die. Meng Xiaochan, her eyes filled with killing intent, looked at Ancestor Chen and shouted fiercely. She unleashed a set of flying daggers, striking out swiftly. At the same time, she slapped her spiritual beast bag, and a swarm of colorful bugs of various sizes buzzed out, charging directly at Ancestor Chen. Lu Lang? Who is this Lu Lang? Could it be someone from the Lu family? Is Preceptor Meng possibly the Lu family's backup plan? The Lu family really knows how to endure, to have planted a foundation-building great cultivator in our Qin family so early. Your Lu family has 3 foundation-building great cultivators. You have been conceding step by step, showing weakness. It's simply despicable and hateful. We're finished, the Qin family is finished. Qin Shuixing, the Qin family patriarch, and all the elders witnessed this scene and heard these words. Their faces turned pale with despair. They thought Meng Xiaochan was a mole sent by the Lu family. When Meng Xiaochan first came to the Qin family, they naturally investigated her background information. They found no connection with the Lu family. Moreover, they had been cautious with Meng Xiaochan, not revealing too much information. But they never expected Meng Xiaochan would betray them at such a critical moment. Facing the combined forces of the Lu and Bai families, 3 foundation establishment cultivators, the Qin family was already struggling to defend themselves. Now with another foundation-building great cultivator turning against them and launching a surprise attack on Ancestor Qin from within, they were entirely powerless to resist. In a flash, a wave of fear and despair spread among the Qin family cultivators. Lu Lang? Who is this? The Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong, who were grappling with the heavy hammer of the Great Formation, looked at each other equally baffled. They did not understand what was going on. Who was this so-called Lu Lang? They certainly did not know this foundation-building great cultivator. Old Lu Ghost, I had no idea you hid so deep. Bai family ancestor, witnessing the scene not far away, was also utterly astonished. Hearing this Lu Lang, he subconsciously thought that Meng Xiaochan must have been a secret pawn of the Lu family. This made him even more wary of the Lu family, just in case he might also be targeted by the Lu family one day. After all, the 2 families had been allies for generations without any conflicts of interest. But if it involved fundamental interests, such relations could be severed in a heartbeat. It's him. While everyone was puzzled about who Lu Lang mentioned by Meng Xiaochan was, Lu Changxing couldn't help but curse silently. He recognized the thin young man at a glance. It was the same person who had managed to escape from him once when he had led a diversion using a foundation establishment spiritual object at Nine Dragons Market. Because he was the only one who had escaped from his clutches, and also having invited him to explore a cave dwelling afterward, which caused the peach blossom goo to indicate some romantic fortune, Lu Changxing had a deep memory of him. Unexpectedly, they would encounter each other here today. Moreover, the other party had become a foundation establishment great cultivator. This Lu Lang couldn't be calling for me, could it? Lu Changxing, watching the thin young man commanding the swarm and attacking Ancestor Qin, suddenly recalled something. That was, back at Nine Dragons Market, a girl in a purple dress had attacked him out of nowhere, laying a goo on him. But at that time he hadn't understood why. Where had he offended her? Now, seeing this thin young man, he suddenly had a guess, an intuitive feeling. The person before him, the thin young man, was actually the girl in the purple dress. One reason being the romantic fortune indicated through the peach blossom goo, letting him know that this thin young man was actually a woman in disguise. Another reason was that goo and bugs were akin, and this thin young man was skilled in bug control. If that's the case, does it all make sense? Her sudden betrayal and attack, could it be because Ancestor Qin just attacked me? If that's the case, then the effects of that love goo are a bit too overbearing, aren't they? Lu Changxing pondered in his heart. He felt it was very likely that things were as he surmised. But he did not speak out. After all, it was just a guess in his heart. He was not 100% sure that the thin young man was the girl in the purple dress. As Lu Changxing was contemplating, Meng Xiaoquan's purple fire serpent had already broken through the ice wall and was upon Ancestor Qin. Detestable, utterly detestable. Ancestor Qin, seeing Meng Xiaoquan's murderous look, had no time to think or ask what was going on. He brought out a crimson flying sword, erupting with intense mana fluctuations, and made a fierce cut at the fire serpent before him, splitting it in 2. But at that moment, swarms of bugs were closing in on him, a terrifying sight. He quickly formed a spiritual art with his hands, his robe fluttering as billowing red flames spread out around him, resembling a sweeping fire cloud, annihilating the swarm. Chapter 235. Is Lu Lang Lu Changxing? Break the formation, break it with all your might. Lu family ancestor saw that the battle of spells between Ancestor Qin and Meng Xiaochan had significantly weakened the power of the formation before them. He knew Ancestor Qin couldn't multitask at this moment, both maintaining the great formation and battling at the same time. He immediately shouted out loud. Boom boom boom. With the command issued, cultivators from both families surrounding Red Leaf Valley all brought forth magic artifacts, activated talismans, cast spells and bombarded the great formation. Several array masters also, at this moment, pushed the formation to its limit, leveraging it to pry open Red Leaf Valley's great formation. Break. Lu family ancestor Lu Yuanzhong and Bai family ancestor at this moment also combined their strength to strike Red Leaf Valley's great formation. Boom boom boom. Boom boom boom. Boom rumble. Red Leaf Valley's great formation, already converted from defense to offense by Ancestor Qin, was significantly weakened in defense. Now that Ancestor Qin was also dividing his attention, unable to fully control the great formation, its power plummeted yet another notch. Under the relentless assault, and with a loud, explosive noise, the second-rank great formation like a glazed bowl, shattered into pieces. Phew! The Qin family elder in charge of this formation turned pale at that moment and spat out a mouthful of blood essence. It wasn't just him. All Qin family disciples connected to the great formation also groaned, their breathing disordered. No! Watching the great formation break open, Ancestor Qin, pale-faced and eyes nearly splitting with fury as he struggled against Meng Xiaochan, roared in unwillingness. He knew their Qin family was finished today. The great formation is broken, kill. Lu family ancestor gave the command. At the same time he sent a message to Lu Yuanzhong, Yuanzhong, hold back the enemy. After speaking he held a Qingzhou flying sword, bursting with sharp energy and attacked Ancestor Qin who was locked in a standoff with Meng Xiaochan, to prevent Ancestor Qin from escaping. Ancestor, you must escape. Inside Red Leaf Valley, many Qin family elders with resolute expressions, shouted loudly towards Ancestor Qin. They were very clear in their hearts. The Qin family was finished. After today, there would be no Qin family in Red Leaf Valley. But if Ancestor Qin managed to escape, he could take the disciples outside to develop in a faraway place. Their Qin family would still have the hope of rising again. However, if Ancestor Qin died too, the chance for their Qin family to rise again would be extremely slim. Old Ghost Qin, your time has come. Bai family ancestor 2 issued commands, ordering the Bai family cultivators to attack Red Leaf Valley. He then turned into an escape light and moved to strike Ancestor Qin. Even though he was wary of the Lu family at this moment, he couldn't possibly break the agreement and not exert effort. After all, now that Red Leaf Valley's great formation was broken, it was time to divide the spoils. Lu, old ghost, you've hidden your plans well. Since when did you start plotting against my Qin family? Ancestor Qin, with his robe fluttering and hair dancing wildly, surrounded by fierce flames, burning the thick swarm of insects, asked, looking towards Lu family ancestor attacking him. Just go on your way with those doubts in your heart. Lu family ancestor said coldly. He himself was confused, unaware of what Meng Xiaoquan's situation was while fighting Ancestor Qin. But regardless of the situation, this was an opportunity. He intended to seize this chance to slay Ancestor Qin and end the blood feud between the Lu and Qin families. Very well, I concede today. Ancestor Qin, seeing the three at the Foundation establishment level besieging him, also knew that he could not escape today's calamity. He tapped several acupoints on his chest, smacked his dantian, causing his Bodhis energy and mana to surge, making even his pale face turn somewhat rosy. Clearly he was invoking some secret technique to suppress his injuries and temporarily increase his combat power. Even if I am to die today, you will pay the price. Ancestor Qin glanced at Lu Yuanzhong in the distance with a hint of regret. Then he turned to Bai family ancestor and roared, attacking him. He knew very well among these three besieging him at Foundation establishment, it was Bai family ancestor who would dare not clash directly with him, the point of breakthrough. If he could kill Bai family ancestor in a desperate move, it would throw the Bai family into chaos. As for Lu family ancestor, his life expectancy was no more than 2 years. With Lu Yuanzhong around, there was not much point in fighting Lu family ancestor to the death. Old Ghost Qin, do you think this ancestor is easy to bully? Bai family ancestor, seeing Ancestor Qin attacking him, cursed inwardly. This whole affair was clearly led by the Lu family. Why come after him? But he also guessed Ancestor Qin's thoughts, wanting to treat him as a weak link, and quickly summoned a colorful feathered garment, radiating colorful divine light. Qin family cultivators, kill. Those who resist and refuse to surrender, kill. Those who intentionally damage property, kill. While the three at Foundation establishment level besieged Ancestor Qin, Lu Yuanzhong stood over Red Leaf Valley, holding the line, watching the two families' cultivators assail the Qin family. At this time, Fourth Elder did not question Lu Changxing about the second-rank talisman. Driving the flying boat, along with Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoyun and others, they entered Red Leaf Valley, wielding a flying sword, and began the slaughter. Alas, this is the cultivation world. Lu Changxing watched the slaughter before him and sighed softly. He too had been through several massacres. Usually, when encountering robber cultivators, he felt no ripple in his heart when killing. But at this moment, the large-scale carnage before him did stir some emotions. However, he wasn't overly sentimental. Over the years, he had gradually adapted to the law of the survival of the fittest in the cultivation world. If you don't kill, others will kill you. If the Lu family had been the ones to fall today, this would have been their fate. I'll fight you all. A Qin family cultivator at 9th level energy refinement, utilizing magic artifacts, controlling puppets, activating several talismans, clashed against 3 Lu family elders. But in the next moment, Lu Yuanzhong, standing firm above, made his move. A mana hand came down and squashed him with a single clap. Chapter 236. Is Lu Lang Lu Changxing? Lu Changxing recognized the Qin family cultivator. It was none other than Qin Shuixing, the Qin family patriarch and leader of those who had ambushed them on their way to Qingzhou Mountain from Qingyun sect with Lu Yuanding. But now, this same Qin family patriarch was slapped dead by Lu Yuanzhong with a single palm strike, emitting only a muffled grunt. This is the gap between Qi refinement and Foundation establishment, Lu Changxing thought quietly to himself. Family head. Even in death, our Qin family will never submit. Let's fight them with all we've got. Except for some cultivators not related by blood who knelt to beg for mercy, the bloodline of the Qin family fought to their last breath. Because they knew they were certain to die. Better to go down fighting than to wait for death. Kill? At that moment, not far away, a Qin family cultivator with a fierce face commanded a flying sword, aiming it straight at Lu Miaoyun. Yuner, be careful. Lu Changxing instantly activated a talisman, forming a protective light shield around Lu Miaoyun. Following that, the green-faced sword was unsheathed, transforming into a piercing sword light that shot forth, piercing through the cultivator's chest. Ugh ugh ugh. The Qin family cultivator, blood overflowing from his mouth, looked unwillingly at Lu Changxing and the others before collapsing to the ground with a thud. Yuner, stay by my side, Lu Changxing said calmly to Lu Miaoyun. Though Lu Miaoyun had reached the 5th level of Qi refinement, she had never really engaged in combat and had poor practical experience. This was also why the Lu and Bai families brought their clan's disciples here. Cultivation isn't about sitting back and relaxing, meditating daily and leisurely riding on cranes. It's about fearlessness in the heart, slaying countless demons, braving brambles and thorns, to seek the path of true self. This endless road of cultivation is destined to go through countless calamities, honed by blood. All right, Lu Miaoyun obediently nodded, somewhat surprised by the strength of her husband. In such a slaughter he remained so composed. The 4th elder, watching this scene, was likewise taken aback by Lu Changxing's performance, feeling that her grandson-in-law was becoming more and more mysterious, unfathomable. Not only had he just used a second-rank talisman, but now he calmly killed a 6th-level energy refining cultivator. To think Lu Changxing had merely reached the 6th level of Qi refinement himself. No wonder Changxing managed to escape from the hands of 3 energy refinement late-stage cultivators back then, the 4th elder thought to herself. She then instructed, Changxing Yuner, be careful and don't stray too far from Grandma. Though this battle was victorious, a cornered beast will still fight. The desperate retaliation from the Qin family was bound to injure, or even kill, some of the Lu and Bai family disciples. Such things were inevitable. Grandma, rest assured, Lu Changxing nodded. He had no desire to rack up merit by killing enemies. If a Qin family cultivator charged at them, he would counter and kill. If not, he would stay with Lu Miaoyun by the 4th elder's side. Meanwhile, above Red Leaf Valley, Ancestor Qin, amidst the siege of 3 Foundation establishment cultivators, hair disheveled, spitting blood, wounded all over, was driven to madness. The moment the great formation broke, his mana had been damaged. Now entangled by 3 adversaries and witnessing the slaughter of his clan, he was driven to extreme desperation. All of you will die. Boom. Realizing his own end was near, Ancestor Chen pushed the secret technique he was using to the limit. He detonated his spiritual artifact and took out a blue pearl, hurling it towards the Bai family ancestor. After all, in his eyes, although this battle was due to Meng Xiaochan, he hated the Lu family and Bai family even more. He wanted to drag someone with him in death. Boom, boom, boom. Amidst the explosion of the spiritual artifact and the heavenly thunder pearl, the sky erupted with a thunderous noise and a dazzling white light. It made everyone in Red Leaf Valley turn their gaze towards the spectacular white light in the sky. Ancestor! Ancestor! Lu Yuanzhong and the Bai family had hurriedly rushed toward the center of the white light. Cough cough, if it hadn't been for my early precautions, that old ghost Chen's dying struggle and the self-destruction of his spiritual artifact along with this heavenly thunder pearl, I might really have been done for, Lu family ancestor said, coughing up blood. It's fine, I had anticipated that the old fiend would fight desperately at his death. Bai family ancestor too was coughing up blood, his spiritual clothing and feather cloak damaged. He was infuriated at the thought of Ancestor Chen trying to take him down with him. The injuries from this battle would take 3 to 5 years to heal properly. And with that mighty explosion, as Ancestor Chen perished, Meng Xiaoquan's mental spirit also regained a sliver of clarity. Her disguise of shape and appearance was broken in that moment. She transformed from a thin young man into a delicate-featured, stunning girl clad in purple, with an ethereal and vivacious aura. She too had been injured in the fray and the explosion of the spiritual artifact. Her complexion was somewhat pale, making her gorgeous face appear all the more pitiable. Such a terrifying Lockhart Gu. At this moment, Meng Xiaoquan's recognition of the horror of the Lockhart Gu deepened. She hadn't laid a hand on Lu Changxing herself, merely let Ancestor Chen make his move. But watching Ancestor Chen attack Lu Changxing, the affection flooding her heart directly caused her to lose her sanity. The only thought in her mind was to die for love. Once the Lockhart Gu takes effect, breaking free from it is extremely difficult. I can't continue like this. While I still have not completely lost myself, leaving Jiang country and never seeing him again is the best strategy. Moreover, this man seems to be my nemesis. At this moment, Meng Xiaochan felt nothing but fear towards Lu Changxing and harbored no ill will, only love. She no longer dared to suppress the effects of the Lockhart Gu, knowing that the more she resisted, the more she suppressed, the faster she would fall. Especially when the affection surged like a tidal wave, instantly causing her to lose her reason. Moreover, having been thwarted by Lu Changxing 3 times, she had abandoned the idea of seeking revenge. The first time, she nearly lost her life and forfeited 2 Foundation establishment spiritual objects. The second time, not only did she lose the Lockhart Gu, but was also backfired on by the poison Gu, which almost cost her own life. Now this third time, for the sake of Lu Changxing, she fought with Ancestor Chen and almost sacrificed her life. She dared not contemplate what the outcome would be if there were a next time. Thank you for your assistance, Taoist friend, Lu family ancestor expressed without concern for Meng Xiaoquan's change in appearance, with a polite bow. This battle would have been impossible to win so easily without Meng Xiaoquan's help. Even if they could have taken Red Leaf Valley, he, the Lu family ancestor, would have had to fight to the death with Ancestor Chen and possibly perish here. There's no need for thanks. I assisted you all for the sake of Lu Lang, Meng Xiaochan said with a lamenting tone. Saying so, her beautiful eyes filled with longing and affection as she looked towards Red Leaf Valley, at a handsome young man standing upright with a magical sword in his hand. Lu Lang? Lu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong were all somewhat taken aback by this address, not knowing who this Lu Lang was. Following Meng Xiaoquan's gaze, they immediately saw the 4th elder, Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoyun and others. Lu Changxing? The moment Lu family ancestor saw the group, his eyes immediately locked onto Lu Changxing. He surmised that this Lu Lang must be Lu Changxing. This made him, a Foundation establishment ancestor, feel a surge of shock in his heart. He had always thought Lu Changxing was extraordinary, a person with grand opportunities and destiny. But this was beyond belief. Despite still being in the Qi refinement realm, an energy refinement cultivator had caught the heart of a Foundation establishment great cultivator, who now looked at him with such a lamenting gaze. And he remembered that when Lu Yuanding and the 4th elder reported to him about Lu Changxing, they mentioned that Lu Changxing liked to marry and sire children, having many wives and maids. In such circumstances, yet another Foundation establishment great cultivator had fallen for him. This. Lu family ancestor didn't know what to say for a moment. Lu Changxing? Lu Yuanzhong also followed Meng Xiaoquan's gaze, his eyes full of surprise and suspicion as he looked towards Lu Changxing. He was not very clear about the situation with Lu Changxing, but Meng Xiaoquan's words and eyes left him utterly bewildered. Lu Changxing? The current situation made by family ancestor feel that something was amiss. It seemed that this foundation establishment great cultivator wasn't arranged by the Lu family ancestor as a covert collaborator within the Qin family. It appeared to be due to a Lu family disciple. Watching Meng Xiaoquan's tender and longing gaze directed at an energy-refining cultivator, he felt almost like he was in a dream. Even though this energy-refining cultivator was indeed handsome and striking, since when did the cultivation world care so much about appearances? While the three foundation establishment ancestors were in the midst of questioning life, Meng Xiaoquan, with her dress fluttering in the wind, flew down towards Lu Changxing in the midst of Red Leaf Valley. Chapter 237. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. _1 At this point, the killing in Red Leaf Valley was almost over. The bloodline of the Qin family's cultivators had been nearly wiped out. All that remained were cultivators with different surnames, as well as slaves and mortals. Then, following a thunderous boom that shook the heavens and earth from above Red Leaf Valley, everyone raised their heads to look at the piercing white light in the sky. As the white light gradually dissipated, the figures of the Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and a purple-clad figure appeared. But there was no sign of Ancestor Qin. Everyone knew that Ancestor Qin was dead. From today onward, the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley would be no more. As for the previously seen thin young man, he had disappeared. Instead, there was a purple-clad girl with a stunningly beautiful face and an ethereal, elusive temperament. The crowd also guessed that this purple-clad girl was actually the thin young man in disguise. To this, they were somewhat surprised, but it also seemed inevitable. After all, just now many had heard Meng Xiaoquan calling out Lu Lang. From this address, it was clear that this Lu Lang was most likely a man. One man calling another man Lu Lang might make sense, but it also seemed a bit strange. However, if it turned out to be a female cultivator, it would appear quite normal. Watching the exquisitely beautiful Meng Xiaoquan in the sky, everyone thought to themselves, wondering who this Lu Lang she mentioned could be? To have captured the heart of a foundation establishment great cultivator in such a way. Is it the Lu family ancestor or Yuanzhong? Members of the two families gazed at the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong in the sky, speculating in their minds. It's really her. Lu Changxing, looking at the purple-clad girl in the sky, thought to himself that it was as he had guessed. He knew he had guessed right earlier. The thin young man from just now was the same purple-dress girl who had placed the goo on him back then. Although the girl in the purple dress had a pretty face which was only considerately beautiful and varied greatly from the current exquisitely beautiful features and the ethereal, elusive temperament, the contours of her eyebrows and eyes, together with her current attire, allowed Lu Changxing to see a resemblance. He was 100% certain that the two were the same person. Does this mean that the Lu Lang she called out was me? Did she suddenly attack Ancestor Qin just now because of me? Because Ancestor Qin attacked me? Lu Changxing pondered to himself. He felt he had mostly figured out the cause and effect, and his confusion was clearing. But then Lu Changxing's thoughts halted, and another question came to mind. Under these circumstances she wouldn't come over and greet me, would she? This thought made Lu Changxing suddenly feel a bit panicked. If she were to come over and greet him in front of this crowd and call out Lu Lang again, wouldn't he be exposed? He would draw attention and be remembered. However, no sooner had the thought crossed his mind than Lu Changxing saw Meng Xiaoquan, in her purple dress, drifting down from the sky towards him. Damn it! Lu Changxing couldn't help but curse internally. This was really setting him up. Under the gaze of everyone present, Meng Xiaoquan approached Lu Changxing. Her delicate face was slightly pale from the recent battle. Her eyes, full of sorrow and apology, looked at Lu Changxing. Then with a voice mellifluous and shy she said, Lu Lang. Hiss. 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 At that moment, everyone around was shocked, stunned, taken aback. The fourth elder was stunned. Lu Miaoyun was stunned. Lu Yuanding was stunned. Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan were also stunned. Just a moment ago they were speculating how deeply the Lu family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong were hiding their true strength, having even kept a foundation establishment great cultivator as a spy within the Qin family. But never in their wildest dreams had they imagined that this foundation establishment great cultivator's Lu Lang was actually Lu Changxing. Lu Changxing, who was outside, actually knew such a foundation establishment great cultivator. And at that moment, this ethereal and fairy-like great cultivator looked tenderly at Lu Changxing with a voice as soft as water, calling out Lu Lang. From their tone, everyone in the moment heard endless sorrow and affection, which caused everyone to gasp in unison. Sigh. Lu Changxing sighed inwardly. He could clearly feel that at this moment, countless eyes filled with shock, surprise, doubt, admiration and respect were fixed on him. He knew he could no longer keep a low profile. "Miss, glad to see you're unharmed." Lu Changxing, looking at Meng Xiaochan before him, said somewhat awkwardly. While speaking, he stealthily slid his hand into his sleeve, clutching the golden light brick talisman treasure. Although he suspected that she had fallen in love with him due to the backlash of the affection goo, the underlying reasons and effects were mostly his own speculations. He was still unclear about the exact effects of this love goo. He didn't know if she would still try to harm him. After all, their first two encounters had not been very pleasant. Lu Changxing also found it too much of a coincidence that Ancestor Chen had suddenly attacked him, and he suspected it might be related to her. This made him extremely cautious. Nevertheless, considering he had the profound origin bead on him, he was still quite confident when facing the current Meng Xiaochan. If Lu Lang recognized me yet was unwilling to meet, how could I be unharmed? Meng Xiaoquan's delicate lips curved slightly, and her starry eyes full of sorrow spoke. It was as though she was looking at a heartless lover. Hearing this, Lu Changxing watched her sorrowful expression and twitched in annoyance. "Big sister, we've only met 3 times in total. I don't even know your name." He thought to himself that this affection goo was far too domineering. Ever since the goo backlash, he hadn't seen her, and now upon meeting her, she was like this. He was relieved that he had the peach blossom goo, or he would have been in the same state. Just the thought gave Lu Changxing shivers. Hiss. 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 And at this moment, everyone around him gasped again. Chapter 238. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. If it wasn't for fear of speaking loudly and disturbing this foundation establishment great cultivator, who might be addressed reverently, they surely would have given their opinion and said that Lu Changxing did not recognize what was good for him. Even more extreme, some directly plopped to their knees. They felt that at this time, they should be kneeling to listen to how Lu Changxing would reply. Not just them but also the 3 ancestors high in the sky were stunned. Just now, when they learned that the foundation establishment great cultivator's Lu Lang was Lu Changxing, they were too shocked to speak. But now, seeing this foundation establishment great cultivator show such a demure daughterly attitude in front of Lu Changxing, felt even more like a dream. This Lu Changxing, what kind of charm does he possess? To actually make a foundation establishment great cultivator display such an attitude. One must know that in the cultivation world, there are far fewer female cultivators than male cultivators. And as the cultivation realm increases, the disparity between the number of males to females becomes even more severe. Hence, in such a situation, female cultivators with beautiful looks and profound cultivation levels are especially popular. Most female cultivators would have several or even dozens of suitors. Yet at this moment, a foundation establishment great cultivator resembling an immortal was showing such an attitude to an energy-refining cultivator. It truly made them question life itself. They felt as if the decades or centuries they'd lived had been in vain. Only at this moment did they truly educate their eyes. Seeing that Lu Changxing did not speak, Meng Xiaochan sighed softly. She spoke to herself, "Xiaochan knows that Lu Lang holds a grudge against me in his heart, hence he is not willing to acknowledge me. But now, my heart towards Lu Lang is sincere. This is the gift Xiaochan prepared for Lu Lang, a token of my feelings, please accept it, Lu Lang." Meng Xiaochan said with a melancholic sigh. She handed a storage bag to Lu Changxing. A gift, a token of affection? Lu Changxing eyed the storage bag before him, his gaze narrowing slightly. He felt that the other party was sincere, but the current situation quite frankly baffled him and he did not know how to respond. Plop, plop, plop. Sounds of knees hitting the ground rose. One could see young cultivators from both the Lu family and Bai family kneeling, looking toward Lu Changxing. They felt that they could only kneel and learn from this level of conversation to show their respect. They did not dare to hope to be like Lu Changxing, to have a foundation establishment great cultivator talk so humbly and offer gifts. They simply wished that in the future, when they had a companion to cultivate alongside, their companion would be so considerate and well-behaved, which would be more than enough to satisfy them. Does Lu Lang not want to forgive Xiao Chan? Meng Xiaochan saw that Lu Changxing wouldn't accept it, and her exquisite face showed a crestfallen sigh. Such demeanor and speech could melt even the strongest of steel. It virtually stunned and astonished everyone around. A foundation establishment great cultivator is actually fawning over Lu Changxing like this. Not far away, Lu Miaohuan watched this scene in astonishment, biting her lip. She hadn't expected that Lu Changxing's charm could reach such a degree. To make a foundation establishment great cultivator, who in appearance was not the slightest bit inferior to her own, act like this. This caused Lu Miaohuan to feel an intense sense of crisis in her heart. But the next moment, when she saw Lu Changxing's indifferent attitude toward Meng Xiaochan and thought of how Lu Changxing usually treated her, she couldn't help but puff out her chest with pride. What does it matter if she is a foundation establishment great cultivator and beautiful? But Lu Changxing likes someone like me. Lu Miaohuan's heart leaped with joy as she found a reason to be happy. Lu Miaoga also quietly watched this unfold. She knew that Lu Changxing had some secrets, but she had never imagined that Lu Changxing had hidden them so deeply. She couldn't understand how Lu Changxing had made a foundation establishment great cultivator fall for him like this. "Husband, since it is the senior's goodwill, you should accept it," said Lu Miaoyun, holding Lu Changxing's hand, speaking softly. She too was shocked by the situation before her. She never thought that the Lu Lang mentioned by the senior was actually her own husband. She was simply at a loss for words. But seeing a foundation establishment great cultivator act like this, she too wanted to show her own closeness and magnanimity. "Yes, Changxing, since it's the girl's sincere feelings you should accept it," the fourth elder also spoke up. She hadn't expected that the Lu Lang spoken of by the foundation establishment great cultivator was actually her grandson-in-law. And to display such humility in front of her grandson-in-law. Seeing this, she was somewhat tempted to tell Lu Changxing that he did not appreciate what was good for him. After all, usually, a foundation establishment great cultivator was an elder master that anyone would respectfully greet. But now, a foundation establishment great cultivator was apologizing and making amends to Lu Changxing, an energy-refining cultivator, which made her feel that even if there was a fault, it was enough. "Fine, thank you Miss Xiaochan, I will accept the gift and we can put the past grievances aside," said Lu Changxing, carefully reaching out to take the storage bag. But his heart remained vigilant, prepared to react at any moment. After all, if the other party really meant to strike at him, even with the profound origin bead at hand, a slight carelessness could still mean danger. Lu Lang is willing to forgive Chaner? Upon hearing these words, the wistfulness disappeared from Meng Xiaoquan's eyes. Her stunningly beautiful face revealed the innocent joy of a young girl, with shallow dimples that were captivating. "Amicham," Lu Changxing nodded slightly. If there had been no one around, he certainly would not have nodded in agreement, as he needed to observe the effects of the goo of affection. But now, in front of such a large audience with so many people around, it would not be good for him to say too much. "Lu Lang is willing to forgive Chaner, that's wonderful," said Meng Xiaochan, her voice filled with genuine emotion. "But Chaner has important matters to attend to and cannot stay by Lu Lang's side. Once I have attended to my affairs, I am willing to cast aside all vanities to boil soup and cook meals for Lu Lang, and spend the rest of our lives together." Having said that, with eyes full of reluctance, she rose gracefully into the air and turned into a beam of escape light, leaving. Phew! Seeing Meng Xiaochan depart, Lu Changxing also exhaled a breath of relief. Chapter 239. I really didn't mean to live off a woman. With the backlash from the love goo, I felt that the other party truly bore no malice toward me. If we meet again in the future, I can try to learn more about the situation with this goo worm. Changxing, can I learn from you? At this moment, a Lu family disciple looked up to Lu Changxing as if on a pilgrimage. "Brother Changxing, you are indeed a role model for our generation. Does this count as being kept by a woman?" "What being kept by a woman? This is eating soft rice with gusto. Indeed, the most devoted lover of Qingzhou Mountain." "Ah, I thought I had been through thousands of flowers without a single leaf touching me, a master of love. Only today did I realize how vast the world is. The most ruthless should be that Sister Miaoyun from the Miaoyun clan is right beside him, shouldn't it? I can't learn this, I can't learn this." Just now I didn't dare to miss a single moment, waiting eagerly for Lu Changxing to speak, and in the end he said nothing. Silence is more eloquent than words. Just this move is enough for us to ponder for a lifetime. Once Meng Xiaochan left, many Lu family disciples dared to voice their discussions. The situation had just about suffocated them. Many Bai family cultivators also deeply remembered this scene today as well as the name Lu Changxing. I really didn't intend to live off a woman's support. Watching the gazes around him, Lu Changxing reluctantly thought to himself as people approached him for guidance. He felt like he had become someone living off a woman in everyone's eyes. Cough, cough. At that moment, the Lu family ancestor descended from the sky, coughing lightly twice, signaling everyone to quiet down and disperse. Lu Changxing, what's the matter with you and the fellow cultivator from before? The Lu family ancestor also inquired of Lu Changxing. The recent event had truly dumbfounded him. He was immensely shocked inside. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing pondered for a moment. Later, with a bitter smile, he said, Ancestor, I encountered her severely injured on my way to the Nine Dragons Market, and I saved her life. After that, she invited me to explore a cave mansion where some things happened, Lu Changxing vaguely stated. After all, he didn't have any way to explain such matters, so he could only make up a story. As for whether they believed him or not, that was no longer his concern. I see. Changxing, we owe you a great deal this time. Rest assured, we will reward you for your service and credit you with the highest merit, the Lu family ancestor said in a mild tone. Everyone had their own chance encounters and secrets. It would be embarrassing for him to pry further. He only knew that if it weren't for Lu Changxing knowing this foundation establishment great cultivator today, the Lu family would have been in trouble. Moreover, as long as Lu Changxing stayed with the Lu family, relying on his relationship with this foundation establishment great cultivator, they would have an additional deterrence against others. Thank you, ancestor. Lu Changxing slightly bowed and said. Okay, you all rest here and stay vigilant, said the Lu family ancestor, not saying much more. He then began the task of cleaning up Red Leaf Valley with the others. Yuner, I didn't mean to keep this from you, Lu Changxing said to his wife Lu Miaoyun, feeling the need to explain. It's okay, husband, as long as you have Yuner in your heart, Lu Miaoyun replied softly, shaking her head. She had long come to terms with Lu Changxing's situation regarding wives and concubines. Now, seeing a foundation-building great cultivator falling for her husband, it was false to say she didn't feel threatened. But at the same time, she also felt a sense of achievement in her heart. She thought it was well-deserved that it was her husband. Changxing, did you also get your second-ranked talisman in that cave mansion? At that moment, the fourth elder asked. Yes, Granny, the elixir medicines I used to save Sister Miaoga and these few second-ranked talismans were gained from that adventure in the cave mansion, Lu Changxing explained. Right away he attributed some of his chance encounters to Meng Xiaochan. Hearing this, the fourth elder did not continue to question further. Allowing Lu Changxing to rest here, she went about her business, beginning to tally the spoils and collect the resources of the Chen family. Dusk dimmed, the setting sun was like blood, mirroring the Crimson Valley, hugely beautiful. As the sun set, the people from the Lu and Bai families felt heartily content. A sense of peaceful beauty filled the air. The cultivators from the Chen family turned into angry and desperate ghastly heads filled with rage and despair. The upper echelons of the Lu and Bai families were organizing the situation in Red Leaf Valley. Lu Changxing was chatting with his wife Lu Miaoyun on the side. Lu Miaohuan had brought her sister Lu Miaoga over to join in the fun as well. However, it was only Lu Miaohuan speaking the entire time, chirping questions non-stop. Lu Miaoga sat quietly on the side, a picture of serene beauty. At that moment, Ichim? Whose spirit boat is that? Be careful, on guard. Someone looked to the sky and shouted loudly. Lu Changxing raised his head. He immediately saw a spirit boat hurtling towards them, stopping above Red Leaf Valley. Right after, 3 cultivators descended from the flying boat. An elderly man with gray hair and a black robe. A middle-aged man around 40, with an imposing face and dressed in a blue-green robe. And a young man in a crimson brocade robe. The elderly man in the black robe and the man in the blue robe emitted a terrifying aura and pressure. 2 foundation establishment great cultivators. Noticing these 3, Lu Changxing could tell, aside from the young man in the crimson robe, the other 2 were foundation establishment great cultivators. The young man in the crimson robe looks dressed like a Qin family member from Red Leaf Valley. As for these 2, could they be the Wugong Ridge Jing family ancestor and the Bai Lake Mountain Foundation establishment great cultivator? Lu Changxing thought to himself. The nearby major cultivation families all had their own family colors. Qingzhou Mountain was known for its green, with clothes often featuring bamboo and bamboo leaf patterns. The Qin family of Red Leaf Valley was known for their red color, whereas Wugong Ridge's Zheng family was black, and by Lake Mountain's Yu family was blue-green. Therefore, seeing the sudden appearance of these three people, through their clothing and appearance, Lu Changxing made a guess about their identities. Chapter 240, I really didn't mean to live off a woman. _4 After all, there are only so many major cultivation families around. Now that the Lu family and the Bai family have made a move against the Qin family, the Yu family and the Zheng family are unlikely to just sit by and watch. Once the Lu family and the Bai family swallow up the Qin family's cultivation resources and gain Red Leaf Valley as a spiritual land, they will be able to develop rapidly. By then, the birth of new foundation-building great cultivators will pose a threat to those around them. Beforehand, the Lu family had anticipated the possibility of the Wugong Ridge Zheng family getting involved, hence the need for swift action. If this man in blue robes really is from the Bai Lake Mountain Yu family, it seems that the Yu family has also been paying attention to the affairs between the Lu family and the Qin family, hoping to get a slice of the pie, Lu Changxing contemplated in his heart. Thinking of the earlier matter when the third young master of the Yu family had come to recruit him, he felt it was quite normal for the Yu family to want to intervene. Just now, both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were injured, and with the Yu family having 2 foundation-building great cultivators, plus the Zheng family ancestor, that makes 3 foundation-building great cultivators. It's hard to say how this matter will be resolved, Lu Changxing sighed internally. He knew it wouldn't be easy for the Lu family to take down the Qin family. Before he could think further, he saw 3 streaks of rainbow light flying out from the depths of Red Leaf Valley. They were the Lu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong, who were in the process of cleaning up the Qin family. Greetings to Lu Daoist, Zheng Daoist. May I ask why the 2 esteemed Daoists have come here? The Lu family ancestor said to the man in blue robes and the man in black robes. The Bai family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong also looked at the 2 with disfavor, vaguely guessing the purpose of their visit. This old ancestor came here at the invitation of Patriarch Qin to visit Red Leaf Valley, the Zheng family ancestor in black robes replied, looking at the 3 of them. He was inwardly shocked. He had received a call for help from the Qin family, learning that the Lu family had given birth to a new foundation establishment great cultivator and had joined forces with the Bai family to attack Red Leaf Valley. To his surprise, the Qin family had fallen so quickly. He couldn't help but feel fortunate to have encountered the patriarch of the Yu family on the way. Otherwise, coming here alone would have been dangerous. Lu Daoist, a few days ago, Patriarch Qin sent young Master Qin to our Bai Lake Mountain, stating that the Qin family is willing to become a vassal of our Yu family. So, I have come here with young Master Qin, intending to discuss this matter in detail with the Qin family. What are you doing here in Red Leaf Valley? The patriarch of the Yu family said calmly to the Lu family ancestor and his group. He was also surprised that the Qin family had already fallen, and that both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were still alive. He had received news of the Lu family and Bai family joining forces to attack the Qin family. He had initially thought that this battle would at least result in the demise of both the Lu family ancestor and Patriarch Qin, with the Bai family ancestor seriously injured. Then their Yu family could reap the benefits of the fishermen. But unexpectedly, both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor in front of him were not dead. They were only injured with their aura in disarray. Becoming vassals? The Lu family ancestor, Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong's faces all darkened upon hearing this. It was clear to them why the Yu family and Zheng family had come. The Qin family of Red Leaf Valley and our Lu family are mortal enemies. With my impending death, I wish to settle the grudge between our families before I pass. What, do you Lu Daoist and Zheng Daoist plan to interfere? The Lu family ancestor spoke, no longer courteous, and said coldly. He was prepared to die, and after uniting with the Bai family and spending a massive amount of resources, they had finally annihilated the Qin family. Now that the Yu family and Zheng family had come, they expected him to spit out the meat that was already in his mouth, as if such an easy thing existed in the world. Even if the Yu family was much stronger than their Lu family, with 2 foundation establishment great cultivators, their Lu family was not to be trifled with. The words of Lu Daoist are incorrect. We of the Yu family naturally would not intervene in the grudges between your Lu family and the Qin family. But since Patriarch Qin has expressed his wish for the Qin family to become a vassal of our Yu family, this is a matter we have to care about, the patriarch of the Yu family stated with a serious expression. You say that the Qin family, having become a vassal of your Yu family, makes it your vassal? Now that old ghost Qin is dead, why not let him speak for himself? By family ancestor also snorted coldly. Clearly, the opposite party was setting up a clear opportunity for plundering in the wake of disaster, and he naturally was not in a mood to converse nicely. Young Master Qin, please explain the situation to the two Taoists. The patriarch of the Yu family turned and instructed the young Master Qin in a crimson brocade robe beside him. Indeed, my Qin family has decided to become vassals of By Lake Mountain's Yu family. Therefore this Red Leaf Valley also belongs to the Yu family, young Master Qin said, looking towards Red Leaf Valley before speaking with eyes full of hatred. Who are these mongrels presuming to speak for the Qin family? There is no longer a Red Leaf Valley Qin family. The Lu family ancestor said coldly, taking action at once. He launched a man-filled longsword towards young Master Qin. Bang! With a gesture, the patriarch of the Yu family broke the man-filled longsword. Then he spoke indifferently, Lu Daoist, if that's how it's going to be, are you saying you wish to be at odds with my By Lake Mountain? Quite at odds indeed? The Lu family ancestor chuckled derisively and said, in ordinary times, my Lu family might indeed fear your Yu family by 3 points. But this old man doesn't have much time left, and before death, I'd like to recklessly challenge Lu Daoist's divine skills. While speaking, he turned his gaze towards the Zheng family ancestor and said, Old Ghost Zheng, do you intend to meddle in this matter? The Lu family ancestor spoke calmly, but his eyes carried a fierce and ruthless menace. To grow into a foundation establishment ancestor was not merely a matter of talent or meditation cultivation. He had also experienced countless bloodbaths. It was only as he aged and became an ancestor that he began to cultivate his temperament and nature. I have no intention of meddling, the Zheng family ancestor said with a smile. But the Qin family once owed my Zheng family a debt of resources. Now that your Lu family and the Bai family have destroyed the Qin family, to whom should I turn for that debt? After all, you know the situation of my Zheng family, Daoist Lu. Absorbing the Qin family, you wouldn't miss that bit of resources, would you? Said the Zheng family ancestor. Naturally, he could see that both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were injured. But he did not wish to conflict with either of them. After all, if a foundation establishment cultivator truly fought with all their might, it may not end in death, but significant injuries would likely result. Moreover, aside from the Lu family ancestor, there were also the Bai family ancestor and Lu Yuanzhong, the latter being a newly advanced foundation establishment cultivator, present. Yet he couldn't just walk away without a share of benefits. Lu Daoist may indeed bargain for a few moves without issue. But our Golden Sun ancestor is also on his way here. Do you really think you can defeat me? Said the patriarch of the Yu family as he unleashed a crimson-yellow wheel and an ice-blue crescent wheel from his sleeve, readying for battle. Spiritual light surged around him, and he exuded an incredibly fierce spiritual pressure and bravery. Golden Sun ancestor? Upon hearing this name, the Lu family ancestor, the Bai family ancestor, and Lu Yuanzhong all narrowed their eyes, aware of the formidability of this Golden Sun ancestor. And their current state left them with no confidence of capturing the patriarch of the Yu family alive. Besides, there was also the Zheng family ancestor nearby. It seems that your Yu family has resolved to be the fisherman who benefits from the quarrel, said the Lu family ancestor. But aren't you curious, Patriarch Yu, as to how our two families managed to breach the Chen family so swiftly? He continued. Upon hearing this, both the patriarch of the Yu family and the Zheng family ancestor were visibly taken aback. Inside Red Leaf Valley. Is a fight about to break out? Lu Changxing mused as he watched from below the tense standoff above, with the patriarch of the Yu family summoning his spiritual artifacts and showing a ferocious stance. But the very next moment he saw the patriarch of the Yu family's crimson-yellow wheel turn, unleashing a wave of crimson and yellow flames that swept over and instantly reduced the nearby young Master Qin to ash. Right after, 5 foundation-building great cultivators ascended to board the spirit boat in the sky. What's this? Could it be that they've negotiated a truce? Lu Changxing furrowed his brow in curiosity. He hadn't expected that one moment there seemed to be an impending clash, and the next they ceased hostilities, killed the Qin family youth in the red robe, and together boarded the spirit boat. If these two really are foundation establishment great cultivators from Bai Lake Mountain and the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge, then the Lu family and Bai family will have to concede some benefits this time. After all, it's not just about seizing territory but also being able to hold it. Only when you have the strength to defend and gain recognition from the surrounding area can you truly take possession. Otherwise, as the saying goes, lose the people and you lose the land. Lu Changxing thought to himself. Although the Lu family and the Bai family had taken down Red Leaf Valley and killed Ancestor Qin, they had yet to take full control of the valley. Moreover, both the Lu family ancestor and the Bai family ancestor were not in the best condition, and Lu Yuanzhong had just reached foundation establishment. Under these circumstances, it would indeed be difficult to hold Red Leaf Valley against the Yu family and the Zheng family. If the conflict were to escalate, his survival would become all the more precarious. I hope for a peaceful resolution, Lu Changxing silently wished. He hoped that the families would maintain peace and stability, allowing him time to grow and develop quietly. From the earlier battle where Meng Xiaochan, the Lu family ancestor, and the Bai family ancestor teamed up against Ancestor Qin, he realized that killing a foundation establishment great cultivator was still a daunting task. With the help of a second-rank puppet, a talisman treasure, and the treasure bone technique, he could defeat a foundation establishment great cultivator, but if the opponent fought desperately and used all their methods, he too would get injured. Though he had life-substituting talismans and was not overly worried, at this stage, Lu Changxing still preferred to avoid encounters with great cultivators of foundation establishment. He simply desired steady growth, secretly advancing all the way to foundation establishment. Chapter 241, Foundation Establishment, Sorted. _1, how come two foundation establishment great cultivators suddenly came here? That black-robed elder must be the ancestor of the Wugong Ridge Zheng family, right? That should be the case. As for the other one, if nothing unexpected has happened, it should be the foundation establishment ancestor from the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain. Why would the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain be together with the Zheng family of Wugong Ridge? They must have seen us conquer Red Leaf Valley, so they want to get a piece of the action. Exactly, just now from the looks of it they were almost going to make a move. Now that our two families have just taken down Red Leaf Valley, the Yu family and Zheng family have sent people. It's obvious they want to take advantage of the situation. Inside Red Leaf Valley, many of the Lu family and Bai family cultivators looked at the scene in the sky, guessing the intentions of these two foundation establishment great cultivators, and couldn't help but become filled with righteous indignation. Today their two families had finally taken down Red Leaf Valley and were about to enjoy the fruits of victory. But now, before they could even pick and enjoy the fruits, the Yu family and Zheng family had foundation establishment great cultivators arriving. Clearly they wanted to snatch away the fruits of victory. Naturally, this made everyone very unhappy. Even if they were unhappy, everyone only dared to discuss it quietly. Lu Changxing, thanks to you knowing that foundation establishment great cultivator, or else today we might have really been taken advantage of in the chaos, said Lu Miaohuan, also speaking up indignantly. Obviously, she was very upset about the two foundation establishment great cultivators coming to take advantage of the situation. Right, Lu Changxing, what's inside the gift that foundation establishment great cultivator gave you? Lu Miaohuan continued, with no hint of her initial aloofness, chatting away like a chatterbox with a curious look on her face. Just some spirit stones and cultivation resources, Lu Changxing replied casually. He hadn't yet carefully checked the gift that Meng Xiaochan had given him. Had only taken a quick glance at it. He saw that the storage bag was filled with a bunch of spirit stones, along with 2 porcelain bottles and a jade box. Cultivation resources? Upon hearing this, Lu Miaohuan didn't ask any further. She went on to say, when we return this time, the family will hold a ceremony to honor our contributions, and you'll definitely be greatly rewarded. Then you won't be lacking cultivation resources. I suppose so. Lu Changxing wasn't very concerned about the reward. After all, with his talisman-making skills and occasionally earning a side income, he wasn't lacking cultivation resources. If there was anything he was lacking, it would be a foundation establishment elixir. But it was clear that the Lu family didn't have a foundation establishment elixir. Even if they did have one, they wouldn't give him a foundation establishment elixir as a reward. Looking at the chattering second miss in front of him, Lu Changxing raised an eyebrow and said, "Second miss, what if I don't ask for any resources as a reward but instead ask the family head for an engagement? What do you think he would agree to?" "Ah?" Lu Miaohuan gasped in surprise upon hearing this, subconsciously thinking that Lu Changxing was considering asking Lu Yuanding for her hand in marriage. A wave of shyness overcame her, leaving her mind completely blank. Her delicate face, fair as white jade, instantly turned a heated red. How would I know such a thing? Lu Miaohuan cried out, her cheeks burning with embarrassment as she shouted loudly. Then she quickly stood up and left, stirring up a fragrant breeze. Is she that easily embarrassed? Lu Changxing watched as Lu Miaohuan, graceful and flustered, hurried away, shaking his head with a smile. He found that teasing the second miss was quite amusing, especially since she often appeared cold and noble, but in reality, was quite susceptible to teasing. Just a little teasing would make her shy and flushed, far too interesting. But his words weren't entirely for the sake of teasing Lu Miaohuan. He indeed had this thought. But not about asking Lu Yuanding for an engagement to marry Lu Miaohuan. Rather, it was about asking Lu Yuanding for an engagement to marry Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan together. After all, his relationships with both sisters had reached this point, so it was time to clarify things. Quietly seated by his side, Lu Miaoga was also slightly startled when Lu Changxing asked that question, and she lightly pursed her lips. After seeing her sister blush and flee, she sighed softly. Then, with a serene expression and a gentle tone, she said, I'm going to check on Huan Huan. Sister Miaoga, Lu Changxing called out to Lu Miaoga. What is it? Lu Miaoga turned to look at Lu Changxing, her expression calm. But her eyes, deep as autumn waters, revealed a hint of panic. Sister Miaoga, if I asked the family head for an engagement, would you be willing to marry me? Lu Changxing asked her through a transmission. He felt that Lu Miaoga's mindset was such that she would struggle to get over her own reservations. Especially since the relationship he had with Lu Miaohuan would likely increase the tension for Lu Miaoga. So Lu Changxing thought that he needed to be more proactive with Lu Miaoga. It's okay, Sister Miaoga, you can give me an answer later. Seeing that Lu Miaoga was pursing her lips without speaking, Lu Changxing didn't press her and said so. He knew such matters couldn't be rushed. He needed to give the other person some time to think it over. Then Lu Miaoga nodded slightly, giving a simple acknowledgement, and left with a heart in turmoil. Husband, when you ask Uncle Yuanding for an engagement, is it to propose to Sister Miaohuan or Sister Miaoga? Or do you intend to marry both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan together? Lu Miaoyun asked, pouting towards Lu Changxing with a hint of jealousy in her teasing voice. Lu Changxing felt a bit awkward being teased by his wife, and he unconsciously touched his nose. After all, there he was, flirting with other women while his wife was by his side. And those women were his wife's sisters. Even though Lu Miaoyun had previously brought up the topic, it was still somewhat embarrassing for him. I think Sister Miaohuan has long harbored deep feelings for you, my husband. If you ask Uncle Yuanding for her hand in marriage, I'm sure he'd agree, she said. But if you, my husband, ask Uncle Yuanding for an engagement, intending to marry both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan at the same time, that might be a bit difficult. Chapter 242, Foundation Establishment, Sorted. Lu Miaoyun looked at her husband in this state, and tilted her head adorably as she said, Yuner feels wronged. Lu Changxing didn't care about his wife's jesting and gently embraced her, whispering softly, Husband. Lu Miaoyun hugged Lu Changxing, resting her head against his chest. She indeed had come to terms with Lu Changxing taking more wives and concubines. But to say she felt no grievance at all was certainly impossible. Or rather, when Lu Changxing had only bought some maids, she didn't mind. But if Lu Changxing truly married Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan, it was certain that neither woman would become a concubine. Under such circumstances, she would inevitably feel somewhat jealous as his wife. If husband really wishes to marry Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan, he could ask the family ancestor to grant the marriages, Lu Miaoyun said softly as she snuggled against Lu Changxing's chest. Though she felt a little jealous, considering that even a foundation-building great cultivator behaved that way towards her husband, who knew whether her husband would marry other women in the future. Rather than that, it was better for her husband to marry her sisters instead. At least they were family, well-acquainted, and capable of living together harmoniously. Yuner. Lu Changxing was even more remorseful hearing his dear wife giving him advice at this time. He made up his mind that he must properly compensate Lu Miaoyun in the future. Night fell. Changxing Yuner, come back with me. The busy fourth elder and two family elders prepared to steer the flying boat, taking some of the disciples and the wounded back to Qingzhou Mountain first. Hearing this, Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun promptly boarded the flying boat, returning with the fourth elder. After all, there was nothing left for them to do in Red Leaf Valley. It was better to return and rest sooner. Grandmother, are those two Foundation Establishment great cultivators from Bai Lake Mountain Yu family and Wugong Ridge Zheng family? Once the flying boat set off, Lu Changxing asked the fourth elder. Although he had already guessed that the two Foundation Establishment cultivators were from the Yu and Zheng families, he still wanted to confirm it with the fourth elder, to understand the current situation. Yes, those two Foundation Establishment cultivators are indeed Bai Lake Mountain Yu family's Foundation Establishment ancestor and the Zheng family ancestor from Wugong Ridge. The fourth elder nodded and said, "The Yu family has wolfish ambitions. We had already noticed the Yu family's interference during the disputes between the Lu and Qin families. Now it seems many incidents from back then cannot be separated from the Yu family. Changxing, we were fortunate to have you this time," prompting Elder Meng to help us out. Grandmother, I did not keep a contact method with Miss Xiaochan. Lu Changxing shook his head slightly, understanding that probably the fourth elder wanted him to invite Meng Xiaochan to stand by and deter others, giving the Lu family more confidence and weight in the upcoming hearings and profit distribution. But he truly didn't have any way to contact Meng Xiaochan. No matter, grandmother was just asking. The fourth elder responded with a slight nod, without further comment. She could tell there was something unusual about the relationship between Lu Changxing and that Foundation Establishment great cultivator. It was only because of the current situation of the Lu family that she had asked, hoping that through Meng Xiaochan, a Foundation Establishment great cultivator, the Lu family could alleviate some of the pressure. After all, the upcoming division of interests was simply a matter of strength. Under the full-speed flight of the spirit boat. Having read widely, he knew that this Ganoderma, like the blood sun fruit he had acquired from Xiaolong, was a Foundation Establishment spirit object. It was helpful for challenging the blood and energy barrier among the three barriers of Foundation Establishment. Is this because I had previously obtained from her Foundation Establishment spirit objects for the mana barrier and the divine sense barrier, but lacked one for the blood and energy barrier, so she specifically brought this to me? Lu Changxing looked at the blood spirit Ganoderma in front of him, somewhat surprised. He hadn't expected the other party to actually bring him a Foundation Establishment spirit object. Although he already had a spirit object for breaking through the blood and energy barrier, and during Foundation Establishment, one could only use one of each type of Foundation Establishment spirit object at most, nobody would complain about having too many such objects. Not to mention keeping it for his children's use, selling it could at least fetch 3,000 spirit stones. Seeing the blood spirit Ganoderma, Lu Changxing was more anticipative of the contents within the two porcelain vases. He closed the jade box and looked inside the porcelain vases. What's this? Lu Changxing looked at the elixir medicines in the porcelain vase, his pupils contracting sharply, hardly able to believe it. He then poured the crystal-clear elixir medicines from the vase into his hand to examine them carefully. A moment later. It really is a Foundation Establishment elixir and there are 2 of them. Lu Changxing, looking at the 2 elixir medicines in his hand, took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. For a time he didn't know what to say. He had been wondering where he would find a Foundation Establishment elixir for his own breakthrough. But unexpectedly Meng Xiaochan had directly delivered them to him now. And she had given him not 1 but 2. This Foundation Establishment elixir has a dark color. It looks to be a substandard product that would result in some elixir toxicity and have a somewhat lower efficacy. But this one is a genuine high-quality Foundation Establishment elixir. Lu Changxing looked at the 2 Foundation Establishment elixirs in his hand and again did not know what to say. Initially he had held some grudges against Meng Xiaochan in his heart, thinking that he would seek revenge when they met in the future. But now, seeing these 2 Foundation Establishment elixirs, Lu Changxing felt that the animosity between them could be considered settled. With these 2 Foundation Establishment elixirs, I don't have to worry about finding one anymore. There is no need to devise a way to acquire them. Next, I just need to stay safe and cultivate until I reach the perfection of Qi refinement, then I can directly attack Foundation Establishment. Lu Changxing felt excited in his heart. He had originally felt that he had a 50 to 60% chance of successfully reaching Foundation Establishment. Now that his spiritual root had improved to middle grade, and he had Foundation Establishment elixirs to assist him, Lu Changxing felt confident his Foundation Establishment was in the bag. However, Where did she get these foundation establishment elixirs from? To be able to give away two at once? No, she has also achieved foundation establishment, which means she had at least 3 foundation establishment elixirs. At that moment, Lu Changxing was somewhat astonished by Meng Xiaoquan's wealth. She seemed like a truly rich woman. The first time they met, he had obtained 2 foundation establishment spirit objects from her. The second time they met, he received a goo insect and Meng Xiaochan fell in love with him. Now on their third encounter, she had brought him gifts. Not just 2,000 spirit stones, 1 foundation establishment spirit object, but also 2 foundation establishment elixirs. If foundation establishment spirit objects can be considered rare treasures, then foundation establishment elixirs are priceless commodities. Even the inferior foundation establishment elixir among the 2 could fetch tens of thousands of spirit stones if sold, desired by countless people. 3 foundation establishment elixirs just like that. Could it be that she acquired the materials to refine them in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm? Lu Changxing speculated in his heart. After all, besides the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, a loose cultivator hardly has any means to obtain foundation establishment elixirs. Considering Meng Xiaoquan's capabilities, it would be normal for her to make some gains in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Still, before foundation establishment, I must not reveal this substandard foundation establishment elixir, or it'll surely attract unwanted attention. Lu Changxing placed the 2 foundation establishment elixirs back in the porcelain vase and stored them in his storage bag. He resolved not to expose the foundation establishment elixirs until he made his breakthrough to foundation establishment. It's difficult for a loose cultivator to obtain a foundation establishment elixir, one reason being they're rarely seen. Moreover, even if a foundation establishment elixir appeared at a large auction, you would need the strength to keep it. After all, such elixirs aren't just needed by chi refinement cultivators. Many factions and foundation establishment great cultivators also require foundation establishment elixirs to nurture their juniors. Hence the pricelessness of foundation establishment elixirs, each appearance sparking a violent and bloody frenzy. Receiving a foundation establishment elixir so effortlessly, and from a girl at that, does this count as being kept by a rich lady? Lu Changxing thought about the foundation establishment elixir had been obsessing over, which had come into his hands so easily, and he felt like it was a dream. He remembered the jade pendant given to him by a nascent soul immortal. As long as he achieved foundation establishment, she would offer him an opportunity. Sigh, I really didn't intend to live off a woman. Lu Changxing sighed softly, feeling that if things continued this way, he really would end up being supported by a woman. Chapter 244, Spiritual Field, Shop, Cave Dwelling. _ 3 days later. Lu family ancestor led a group of Lu family cultivators back to Qingzhou Mountain, signifying that the matter in Red Leaf Valley had come to an end. Lu Miaohuan and her sisters returned along with Lu Yuanding. Sister, do you think Lu Changxing will really come to propose? After returning home, Lu Miaohuan shyly asked her sister Lu Miaoga. These past few days she had constantly been pondering the words Lu Changxing said before, wondering if Lu Changxing's talk of proposing was real or just a joke. It had left her feeling anxious these past days. As long as you nod to show your willingness, maybe Lu Changxing will come to propose today. Lu Miaoga, watching her sister's shy appearance, smiled gently and said softly, knowing that her sister had deep feelings for Lu Changxing. If it weren't for the restraint and shyness of being a woman, she would have probably agreed already. Thinking this, she sighed softly in her heart. Not just Lu Miaohuan. She too felt unsettled these past days. Lu Changxing's words continuously echoed in her mind. She wondered if Lu Changxing really came to propose, would she agree? After 3 days of deliberation, Lu Miaoga had roughly come to a conclusion. Should it really come to that, and if Lu Changxing indeed came to propose, she would still agree and not refuse. But even having reached such a conclusion, she still couldn't get over her emotional hurdle. Unsure of how to face Lu Changxing, how to answer his question. Can't he see whether I'm willing or not? Does he still need to ask me? Could it be that I should take the initiative to speak up? Lu Miaohuan's tempting red lips pursed, and she said somewhat bashfully. She felt that such matters shouldn't require her to take the initiative to tell Lu Changxing that she was willing and for him to come to propose. That would be too embarrassing. Moreover, this is something that Lu Changxing should take the initiative to do. Then she herself, upon her father's inquiry, should state that the matter of marriage is her father's decision, and she would abide by her father's arrangement. I just happen to have something to discuss with Lu Changxing. Since that's the case, how about I probe a little for you, drop a hint to him? Lu Miaoge, seeing her sister act this way, could not help but speak up. Although she now felt a bit scared to see Lu Changxing, fearing what Lu Changxing might ask her in return. But as the saying goes, an elder sister is akin to a mother. For the sake of her sister's happiness, she still chose to have a talk with Lu Changxing. MHM. Lu Miaohuan lightly hummed a response, her voice as faint as a mosquito's. If it were before, her pride would never allow her sister to take the initiative in giving hints. She would wait for Lu Changxing to propose of his own accord. But having initially thought Lu Changxing had died, she had a change of heart. She had let go of her pride when it came to Lu Changxing. At the same time, Lu Miaoyun was also at home pondering the matter of her husband and her cousins, Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan, thinking of how to facilitate the marriage proposal. After all, she could see that her husband indeed had feelings for her two cousins. In such a situation as a wife, it is natural to share her husband's worries and difficulties. Of course, she also had her own selfish reasons. Meng Xiaoquan's appearance had inevitably made Lu Miaoyun feel a sense of crisis. She wanted to do something for her husband. Moreover, she hoped that after her husband married Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan, he would concentrate on cultivation, focus on the talisman path, and stop spending too much attention on other women. Although I suggested to my husband that the elder could give a marital blessing, I'm certain he will not do so. He will definitely seek the consent of Sister Miaoge and Miaohuan before proposing, Lu Miaoyun thought to herself. Having lived with her husband for so many years, she knew his nature well. She knew that in such matters he would definitely respect the other party's wishes and seek their consent. He would not rashly propose nor let the elder grant the marriage without the other party's agreement. It's clear that Miaohuan likes my husband, and if he proposed she would surely agree, but as for Sister Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun continued her contemplation. She delved deep into thought about her cousin's situation. And she didn't know how to describe the relationship between her husband and Lu Miaoge. I remember that Sister Miaoge used to interact with my husband not as they do now, right? This reflection suddenly made Lu Miaoyun feel that the relationship between Lu Miaoge and her husband had become somewhat strange. But she couldn't quite put her finger on what was strange. It seemed that they were still close, yet they both appeared somewhat constrained. Especially Lu Miaoge. I recall that in the past, Sister Miaoge used to treat my husband much like she did our younger brothers and sisters, very naturally, but now, Sister Miaoge seems different around my husband, lacking that easygoing vibe. That's right, it's that naturalness that's missing. Although they seem to still be close, Miaoge hardly speaks to my husband recently, as if she is somewhat avoiding him. Lu Miaoyun continued to ponder, recalling the circumstances between her husband and Lu Miaoge. No, it's not just when facing my husband. It seems Sister Miaoge is also a bit unnatural around me. It was right after Sister Miaoge returned injured, things seemed off. Lu Miaoyun thought carefully, realizing that something had been amiss with Lu Miaoge for about half a year, but she hadn't given it much thought at the time and had not paid much attention. Now, on reflection, she immediately sensed that there was a problem. She felt that something must have happened between her husband and Lu Miaoge at that time, which was why Lu Miaoge was acting this way. During that time, Sister Miaoge had a close brush with death at the hands of a robber's cultivator, barely clinging to life, and it was my husband who rescued Sister Miaoge. Something must have happened during that, and that's why Sister Miaoge is behaving like this. Sister Miaoge, what do you think of my husband? Lu Miaoyun tilted her head and asked. What do you mean by how is he? Lu Miaoge was slightly startled. Lu Miaoyun didn't understand the meaning of her words. Just your impression of your husband, Sister Miaoge, in all aspects as a person, I mean. Lu Miaoyun directly sat next to Lu Miaoge, wrapped her arm around hers and said with a smile brimming in her eyes. Because Lu Miaoge had been learning talismans from the fourth elder, she got along very well with Lu Miaoge. Changxing is good in all aspects as a person. Lu Miaoge didn't know why Lu Miaoyun was asking this and spoke softly. Her impression of Lu Changxing was indeed favorable. In terms of looks, abilities and character he was truly outstanding. Of course his faults were also very clear. As a cultivator, he was too indulged in the company of women. If Lu Changxing could focus on his cultivation and hold the great Tao in his heart, her opinion of him would be even higher. It seems that your husband has made a good impression on you, Sister Miaoge. So, Sister Miaoge, would you be willing to marry your husband? Lu Miaoyun asked jokingly. When Lu Miaoge heard this, her heart suddenly stirred. She had not expected Lu Miaoyun to say such a thing. She spoke softly, Miaoyun, don't joke about this. Sister Miaoge, I'm not joking. Lu Miaoyun looked at her usually calm and gentle clan sister, now showing such a demeanor. She became more certain that something had definitely happened between Lu Miaoge and her own husband. It was likely just as she had guessed. Sister Miaoge, I can see that my husband likes you very much. And you, Sister Miaoge, you also have some feelings for my husband in your heart. Lu Miaoyun continued. Miaoyun. When Lu Miaoge heard this, she pursed her lips, signaling her to stop talking. Sister Miaoge, if I'm not mistaken, something must have happened between you and my husband, right? You seem to have a bit of an avoidance complex when facing me and when facing my husband. Sister Miaoge, are you worried about something because of me? If it's because of what I've said, I think you don't need to care because I don't mind it. Lu Miaoyun looked at Lu Miaoge and said it outright. Miaoyun, Lu Miaoge had never expected that Lu Miaoyun would guess the matter between her and Lu Changxing, and that she would say it so candidly. It left her at a loss for words. Sister Miaoge, apart from me, do you have other concerns? If it's about Sister Miaohuan, I believe she wouldn't mind either. Is it about cultivation? I know, Sister Miaoge, you are devoted to cultivation, but marrying my husband wouldn't affect your practice. In fact, seeing that you and my husband already have feelings for each other, instead of letting these emotions hinder your practice, it would be better to become Tao companions and cultivate together. If you are worried about childbirth, my husband will not force anyone on this matter. If you don't want to have children, you can just tell him directly. Seeing Lu Miaoge like this, Lu Miaoyun knew she must have guessed correctly and said everything all at once. Lu Miaoge pursed her lips and found herself unable to speak. Would one just wander over and linger at the door without entering? It's about Huan Huan. Lu Miaoge sighed slightly and said, Miaoyun, you can see that Huan Huan is quite fond of Changxing, and back in Red Leaf Valley Changxing mentioned the matter of proposing. Thus, Huan Huan has been preoccupied with it these past few days. So I came to discuss this with Changxing and to settle his and Huan Huan's affair. Lu Miaoge said as much. Sister Miaoge, did our husband also use spiritual communication to ask you this question? Lu Miaoyun nodded, inquiring. At that time, Lu Changxing had called after Lu Miaoge and then fell silent. But Lu Miaoyun could tell that her husband was speaking through spiritual communication, and she guessed what the contents of that communication might be. MHM. At this point, Lu Miaoge had nothing to hide and nodded somewhat bashfully. So Sister Miaoge, you were at the doorway just now because you didn't know how to reply to our husband, right? Lu Miaoyun's face showed a look of realization. She quickly spoke up, Sister Miaoge, don't worry about it. Given the situation, he'll take care of things for you and Sister Miaohuan with our husband. He'll speak to him. Lu Miaoyun said so. She knew the character of her clan sister well. She understood that for Lu Miaoge to discuss such a matter with Lu Changxing, it would indeed be embarrassing and difficult. And after everything she had just said, Lu Miaoge must surely be somewhat unsettled in her heart. She would need some time to calm down. Truly letting her tell Lu Changxing by herself, her thoughts might change again. Then it'll trouble you, Miaoyun? Lu Miaoge breathed a sigh of relief and said so. Then she said her goodbyes and left. In this short time, her heart, which she had finally calmed down a few days before, became chaotic again. We're going to be family after all, Sister Miaoge, there's no need to be so formal. Lu Miaoyun immediately got up to see Lu Miaoge off. Humph, you rotten husband, you better make it up to me later. After sending Lu Miaoge out the door, Lu Miaoyun couldn't help feeling a bit sour as she thought about how she, as a wife, was actually helping her own husband find another woman, and snorted softly. And after Lu Miaoge had left, she gradually came back to her senses. She hadn't expected that coming over to speak on behalf of her sister would result in losing herself in the process. Sigh. Lu Miaoge, having already agreed, said nothing more, only letting out a light sigh. However, at this moment she felt a certain sense of liberation and relaxation. For the past half-year, this matter had been hanging over her, making it hard for her to concentrate on her cultivation. Inside the study. Sister Miaoge agreed too? Lu Changxing, hearing Lu Miaoyun's words, couldn't help but express his surprise. He wasn't worried about Lu Miaohuan's side at all. Knowing her immediate attitude at the time, she had essentially agreed. Chapter 247. Sister Miaoga, why don't you teach Huan? Understood, ancestor, I have no other requests. I just need to trouble you with one matter. Lu Changxing paused slightly after hearing the words of the Lu family ancestor and spoke with a respectful bow. A couple of days ago, after Lu Miaoyun had told him that her sister, Lu Miaoga, consented to marry him, he planned to go to Lu Yuanding to propose. To take both sisters as his wives. But when he was about to propose formally, Lu Changxing felt stuck. He somewhat didn't know how to broach the subject. After all, whoever proposes marriage by asking for two daughters of a family at once? Even though Lu Changxing's face had thickened quite a bit, he truly did not know how to start the conversation with Lu Yuanding. In the end, he decided, just as his wife Lu Miaoyun suggested, to ask the Lu family ancestor to bestow the marriage. He and Lu Miaoga, as well as Lu Miaohuan, were mutually fond of each other. So having the Lu family ancestor play matchmaker was quite in line with reason. It would not involve anything forceful. Oh, you need my help? The Lu family ancestor was mildly surprised to hear that Lu Changxing needed assistance from him. He then said directly, "What is it? Speak freely." "I am fond of the family head's daughter and would like to ask the ancestor to play matchmaker for me," Lu Changxing said with respect. Fond of Yuanding's daughter? The Lu family ancestor smiled upon hearing this. He thought it was some major issue. He did not expect it to concern the affairs of young men and women. But knowing about Lu Changxing's preference for marrying and having children, he felt reassured. He cheerfully said, "Since there is mutual affection between you two, I will take on the task and play matchmaker for your marriage. But I recall that Yuanding has two daughters. With which one are you mutually fond? Could it be Miaoga?" The Lu family ancestor asked thus. He did not meddle in family affairs, but he was very clear about many things within the family. He knew of Lu Yuanding's two daughters, especially Lu Miaoga, who was not only talented in cultivation but also a high-quality talisman master. Lu Changxing's manner made him guess that Lu Changxing wanted to marry Lu Miaoga. Ancestor, I am mutually fond with both daughters of the family head," Lu Changxing said somewhat sheepishly. "What, you are mutually fond of both of Yuanding's daughters?" The Lu family ancestor was taken aback upon hearing this. He did not expect Lu Changxing's request for matchmaking involved not one but two. To marry away both of Lu Yuanding's daughters. He instantly understood. No wonder Lu Changxing requested his help to play matchmaker instead of proposing himself. If Lu Changxing personally went to propose, declaring he wanted to marry both of Lu Yuanding's daughters, not to mention being kicked out, but for sure Lu Yuanding would not give him a good expression. "Fine, since there is mutual affection, I will play matchmaker for you." The Lu family ancestor didn't say much more and simply agreed. Setting aside that Lu Changxing spoke of mutual affection, even if there had been no mutual affection, so long as Lu Changxing asked and his descendants did not oppose him, he would be willing to match them with Lu Changxing, a man of great destiny. After all, Lu Changxing was also one of the Lu family's own. Marrying several Lu family women was of no concern. It wouldn't only prevent talent from leaving the family, but it would also bind Lu Changxing even closer to the Lu family and integrate him further into the family. Many thanks, ancestor. Seeing the Lu family ancestor agree so readily, Lu Changxing also breathed a sigh of relief and bowed immediately in thanks. No need for such formality. Do you have any other matters? Don't be shy, you may bring them up, the Lu family ancestor said to Lu Changxing with a cheerful smile. Ancestor, I have no other matters, Lu Changxing responded respectfully. All right, since there are no other matters, then I will go and speak on your behalf. As for whether it will be successful, I cannot guarantee. Of course, if as you say there is mutual affection, there should not be any problem, the Lu family ancestor said. He would not make such promises outright and guarantee success. I understand, thank you for the trouble, ancestor, Lu Changxing said as he bowed. He had asked about Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan, it was just that he simply didn't dare to face Lu Yuanding, his future father-in-law. Afterward, the Lu family ancestor did not stay long and said a few words before departing. Lu Changxing saw him off with great respect. Husband, did you mention the matter of Sister Miaoga and Miaohuan to the ancestor just now? After Lu Changxing had seen off the Lu family ancestor, Lu Miaoyun stepped forward and asked. She had already thought it through. If Lu Changxing truly couldn't broach the subject, she would trouble the fourth elder, to have the fourth elder speak on behalf of Lu Changxing. The ancestor has already agreed. Lu Changxing nodded and did not hide it. He also shared the reward the Lu family ancestor had given him. 100 mu of spirit farmland, a shop and a cave dwelling in Red Leaf Valley Market. Lu Miaoyun was startled upon hearing about the reward, her mouth slightly agape in surprise. Because the reward was quite substantial. 100 mu of spirit farmland, even if used to grow the most ordinary spirit rice, after deducting for seeds, fertilizers and the like, leaving everything else to spirit farmers to manage, would yield over 1,000 spirit stones a year. Seeing the Lu family ancestor drinking tea in the hall, she immediately greeted him respectfully. Miaoge, Lu Changxing says that you and he are mutually in love, and so he has asked me to come here to propose marriage. Is this true or false? The Lu family ancestor looked at Lu Miaoge and asked with a smile. Upon hearing these words, Lu Miaoge's lovely cheeks blushed ignitedly. After what Lu Miaoyun said the day before yesterday, she had been somewhat restless when she went home, thinking about the possibility of Lu Changxing coming to propose. She never expected that Lu Changxing would actually ask the ancestor to come and propose. Chapter 249. Sister Miaoge, why don't you teach Huan Huan? Ah. Upon witnessing this scene, Lu Yuanding had wanted to ask some questions. But seeing his daughter like this, he suddenly felt there was nothing to question anymore. He knew that the relationship between his daughter and Lu Changxing was not just about mutual affection but was also extraordinary. Alright, if that's the case, 1 month from now is an auspicious day. Let's hold the wedding then. I will personally preside over the marriage and share in the joy with a toast. Seeing this, the Lu family ancestor also found his answer and didn't inquire further, immediately making the decision. He was also somewhat curious about what kind of capabilities Lu Changxing possessed. After all, he had won the affections of both of Lu Yuanding's daughters. It reminded him of how a foundation establishment great cultivator in Red Leaf Valley had fallen for Lu Changxing. This matter remained unfathomable to him even now. After all, it was utterly impossible to captivate so many female cultivators solely with one's appearance. There must be something exceptional about him in other aspects. But during his visit to Lu Changxing's residence, he could tell that Lu Changxing wasn't using any heretical methods. His aura was upright and serene, his wives and concubines radiant, with nothing amiss. Miaoge will follow the arrangements of the family ancestor and father. Lu Miaoge said softly with a shy bow of her head. At this moment, all the unease in her heart dissolved. All that remained was shyness and a hint of joy. Good Yuanding, you arrange this. Just let me know when it's time, said the Lu family ancestor. Yes, family ancestor, Lu Yuanding responded helplessly with a cupped fist salute. After all, at this point, what more could he say? Afterward, the Lu family ancestor took his leave. Miaoge, when did you and Changxing begin? Lu Yuanding sighed slightly and asked his daughter after seeing off the family ancestor. He still felt somewhat unwilling to let go. He wanted to know when exactly Lu Changxing had stolen away his eldest daughter. It was when I encountered a robber cultivator and Changxing saved me, Lu Miaoge said softly with her head bowed, not hiding anything from her father. Upon hearing this, Lu Yuanding felt somewhat relieved, and it eased his mind significantly. He knew that if not for Lu Changxing, his eldest daughter would have perished then. He then had a chat with his eldest daughter before going to inform his younger daughter. He told her that her marriage with Lu Changxing was settled and would take place in a month. Lu Miaohuan was initially shocked, not expecting the arrangement to be made so swiftly and feeling suddenly bashful. But learning that Lu Changxing was not only marrying her but also her sister, she was stunned for a moment. However, after Lu Yuanding's explanation, she silently pondered for a moment and then came to terms with it. She quickly accepted the situation. After all, she had already accepted Lu Changxing's numerous wives and concubines, and naturally wouldn't mind her own sister. Before long, half a month passed. The news that Lu Changxing was about to wed the Lu family's eldest miss and the second miss spread across Qingzhou Mountain, stirring up much discussion. Damn, what the hell, Lu Changxing is getting married again, and to both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan. Our Lu family's two beauties are being swept away by one man. How can you call it being swept away? This is clearly keeping the resources within our own field. Yeah, marrying Lu Changxing is still marrying within our Lu family, right? The family head actually agreed to this marriage? I heard that Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan are indeed in love with Brother Changxing, so the family head could only agree. SS truly worthy of being our Qingzhou Mountain's #1 romantic. Not only did he charm a foundation establishment great cultivator before, but now he silently won over both Sister Miaoga and Sister Miaohuan. In this regard, I respect no one but Lu Changxing. I'm not surprised that Lu Miaohuan is marrying Lu Changxing, but I didn't expect Sister Miaoga to marry him as well. Yeah, I thought Sister Miaoga would remain unmarried for life. I support this marriage. That's right, I also support it. If not for Lu Changxing, when we in the Bai family attacked Red Leaf Valley, we might have been outplayed by the Yu family. As the news of Lu Changxing's upcoming marriage to Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan circulated, Qingzhou Mountain buzzed with excitement, with many people discussing it. If it was just Lu Miaohuan getting married, people wouldn't have much to talk about. At most, they would remark in amazement that Lu Changxing was taking a wife again. But Lu Changxing was marrying both sisters at once. Especially Lu Miaoga, who not only had a great talent for cultivation and a good reputation but was also a top-quality talisman master. Many Lu family disciples thought Lu Miaoga would remain unmarried for life. Yet unexpectedly, Lu Miaoga was going to marry Lu Changxing. And she was marrying him along with her sister Lu Miaohuan. So this made everyone feel incredibly moved. But it was just a sentiment and discussion without any real objection. After all, by now Lu Changxing had thoroughly integrated into the Lu family. He had shared in their trials and tribulations, contributing to their victories, making him one of their own. The immortal seedlings who had originally come to Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Changxing, upon hearing this news, felt a mix of envy and awe but no longer had any strong emotions or other feelings on the matter. Having been in Qingzhou Mountain for over a decade, they had gradually accepted reality and come to terms with their ordinariness. They understood that not everyone with a spiritual root stepping onto the path of immortality could achieve success in cultivation. The path of immortality was difficult, filled with countless dangers. 99% of cultivators spent their lives inconspicuously in the qi refinement realm. Now Lu Changxing was growing farther and farther away from them. He had reached a point where they no longer compared themselves to him or discussed him on equal terms. Sometimes they would reminisce about their initial arrival at Qingzhou Mountain with Lu Changxing as a son-in-law and regret not having formed a good relationship with him. As for the discussions in Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Changxing was unaware and unconcerned. During this time he devoted his time to accompanying his wives and concubines. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.